This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Mostly sunny 27 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
Peter Malinauskas will be officially sworn in as the state's new Premier today. It follows Labor's demolition of the Liberals in Saturday's election. His deputy, Susan Close, and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will also be made official today, with the rest of the Malinauskas ministry to follow in the coming days. Going over the state's remaining COVID restrictions is top of the Premier-elect's agenda. He'll meet with Grant Stevens and Nicola Spurrier. Work will also begin on making one of his election promises to motorsport fans a reality, the return of the Adelaide 500.
Look, I'm actually very excited about this. That's the first time I've actually thought about the Adelaide 500 since the whirlwind. Look, that's coming back in the first weekend of December this year.
And the supercars have confirmed they're now working on making that happen. Stephen Marshall released a statement yesterday saying he's stepping down as Liberal Party leader after 9 years in the job, 4 of those as Premier. His seat of Dunstan is also in serious doubt, with the result to come down to postal and pre-poll votes. Counting of those starts today. A fire at a Western Suburbs business is being treated as arson. The alarm was raised at a pharmacy on Hanson Road at Woodville Gardens shortly before 8 last night. The business was destroyed. Investigations are continuing. Well, Shane Warne has been laid to rest in Melbourne. Family, friends and former teammates gathered for the private funeral at the St Kilda Football Club. They raised a glass of gin to Warney before his coffin departed to the sounds of Simply the Best. Friend and MC Eddie Maguire says people travelled from overseas to attend the service.
Michael Vaughan, the English captain, which says it's enough in itself that the English cricket captain has flown all the way out here to be here. You've got Ross Desmond, whose family owns the Glasgow Celtic. You've got all the big names, Lloyd Williams, etc., etc. And then you've got his poker mates and friends that he's had since he was a young man, and his family.
Warney's state memorial service will be held at the MCG next week. Labor Senator Kimberley Kitching's funeral will be held in Melbourne today. The 52-year-old died from a heart attack earlier this month, with work-related stress believed to have contributed to her sudden death. It's claimed she endured cruel treatment by her own colleagues during her time in federal parliament. The United Nations says 10 million Ukrainians have now fled their homes because of the Russian invasion. In just over 3 weeks, more than 3.5 million have left Ukraine. Others have had to try and find somewhere to shelter. Secretary-General of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Jan Egeland, has told the BBC they're only just beginning to grasp the extent of the catastrophe.
We have to go back to the Second World War to have anything comparable, and I don't think even at that time you would see that more than 3 million people were displaced per week. I mean, it's 3.5 weeks since this started, and now 10 million people have had to flee their homes.
Inspectors will be sent to hundreds of pubs across the country to ensure bartenders aren't ripping off customers. The so-called Pint Police from the National Measurement Institute will run a week-long audit to test pubs for their measurement accuracy. Now to FIVEaa Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's a very good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Heartbreak for Adelaide after an agonising 1-point loss against Fremantle at home to kick off the season. The Crows led by 19 points midway through the final term. Coach Matthew Nicks blaming the side's poor first half for the result.
We didn't see us for that first half, so the way we train, the way we play, that unfortunately there's no timeouts in footy, and we couldn't make one until quarter time, and then we weren't able to bring it back after that in the second quarter either.
Andrew McPherson suffered a hamstring injury, while the injury concerns are coming thick and fast at Alberton, with Alir hurting his ankle, while Trent McKenzie hurt his knee and Xavier Dersma his shoulder. 2 other games to wrap up the round yesterday, with Gold Coast 27-point winners over West Coast, while Hawthorn overpowered North Melbourne by 20 points. Well, Daniel Ricciardo's had a disappointing start to the Formula One season, finishing 14th at the Bahrain Grand Prix. After starting from 18th on the grid, Ricciardo says he was satisfied with completing the race.
We knew it wouldn't be an easy race, and we had some challenges. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm glad we got the race distance in.
A dream start for Ferrari, who recorded a 1-2 finish with Charles Leclerc finishing ahead of Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. Defending champion Max Verstappen lost power with 2 laps remaining and failed to finish. Meantime, Aussie Jack Miller has finished 4th in a rain-marred Indonesian MotoGP. And in some soccer to finish, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool are still locked at 0-0 with about 15 minutes to play in their FA Cup quarter-final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
27 today, mostly sunny, a shower or two tomorrow, 26. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 23. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
6:06. Good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. Crikey, we're under interrogation in here. The lights just went on.
I feel like I'm about to have root canal.
Yes, I admit, I'm guilty. Coming up on the program this morning, we're off to the US before 7 o'clock. We'll chat with the conductor at the Australian Symphony Orchestra, Guy Noble, on last night at the Proms. We have been promoting this for a while. It sounds like a fantastic show. Guy Noble on after 7 o'clock this morning. There's a bloke by the name of Peter Malinauskas you may have heard about. It's had a big weekend. He'll join us after 7:30 today. We're giving away $100 worth of free fuel. And I guess the other end of both the political spectrum and the happiness spectrum right now from Peter Malinauskas is South Australian Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham. He'll be on after 8:30 to try and tell us why it's not as bad as it looks like it is. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, folks. Footy is back, which I think everyone will agree is excellent news. And Labor's back, which not everybody will agree is excellent news, but
55% of people do.
55% of people will go, yep. Is it Labor's back or is it Peter Malinauskas is here?
I think it's Peter Malinauskas.
They would not have gone close to winning this without him.
No. He is the brand. He's the reason that they are in government today.
100%. 100%. I mean, if you take him out of the picture, what's the thing driving the Labor vote in South Australia?
Yep.
It's a Kevin 07-esque result, hopefully, with the key difference that he's not a massive weirdo. And from what we've seen of the bloke, he isn't. He's going to be in the studio today. But, yeah, Stephen Marshall, victim to a large degree, I think, of circumstances. 6 months ago, he romps it in, or coasts home, I think. Who can tell, you know? It's like Peter Costello talking about whether he would have won if he was leader in 2007. You can never prove what might have happened in politics. Yeah, counterfactual. But, you know, clearly COVID was a huge issue. The Christmas scenes of queues and the ongoing...
Omicron couldn't have been...
Yeah.
If you were timing a new variant to kill off a political career...
Yes,
that's what. But it was that combined with he came up against a superstar candidate.
He did.
So it's the worst of all the little things that could have happened created this situation. That said, I just keep refreshing and looking at the counting as it takes place over the weekend. And when we were talking about it during our election coverage on Saturday night, we painted a pretty grim picture for the Liberals. It just gets worse. Like as more data comes in, as we learn more about the preference flows, places like Waite are going to be represented by a Labor candidate, potentially now.
Yeah. Mitcham.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
So just in case you've been living under a rock, Stephen Marshall resigned yesterday. He went to Government House and tendered his resignation.
As leader,
yes. He put out a very big-hearted and humble statement. Said he took full personal responsibility for the result, which I don't think is totally fair. But, you know, it was very manly of him doing that.
What was the alternative? Blame Nicola?
Yeah, that's right. And he's still not guaranteed of winning his seat.
No, he's behind at the moment.
The Deputy Premier, Dan Van Hulst-Pelican, he's definitely lost his seat.
Yep.
The Transport Minister, Corey Wingard, appears to have definitely lost his seat.
He's gone. It's
been called, hasn't it?
Yep.
The Minister for Child Protection, Rachel Sanderson, she lost her seat.
Gone.
The Minister for Skills, David Pisoni, who's the member for Unley.
Under the pump.
Now, if anyone here has ever driven through Unley Park, where houses sit on 1,500, 2,000 square metre blocks and sell for about $6 million, possibly a Labor area. Possibly a Labor area.
I think that one will hold up. I think Bazzoni will be just okay. But that
he's turned it into a key marginal.
That tells you the scale of the devastation.
Unley is the new king for the next election.
Yeah, everyone it will be looked upon that way. But how much is left in them, if you know what I mean?
Hey, to the many hundreds of people who tuned in Saturday night, thank you. We had a great time.
It was good.
We were going to rebadge it, Election 22, a look back, because by the time we came on at 10:30 p.m, it felt like old news.
It was good fun. There's a lot of election content on the program this morning. Stephen Gould was called in on the weather, though. Steve, good morning to you.
Hey, boys. Love your show.
Thanks,
coming down from Gould every Monday morning, but this morning there was fog all the way down. You couldn't see 30 metres in front of you, so just warning people to leave a little bit earlier or something, and be very careful because the roos are out as well. And I didn't see any this morning, but I often do. And look, I just wanted to make a comment about the football too. The commentators kept saying Brisbane aren't playing their best, but why was that? It was because Port was playing better.
Certainly, that first half.
Yeah, in the first half. But then we had all the injuries, and I went into the game thinking that Brisbane was going to give us a hiding, and I'm a Port supporter, of course. But I was very proud of the boys, and they stood up well with all those injuries.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? It's an interesting one. I spoke to some Port people before the game who said, we don't win in Brisbane, we'll get done by 4 goals. But the nature of footy is sometimes you get sucked in, and that first half was really promising. Injuries come, and suddenly Port people post-game were angry. And I can tell you, chief among them was Timmy Ginniver, who was really disappointed. Because your goal pace shift.
Video of that?
No.
Oh,
no.
Damn. We saw it live.
He wasn't happy, Tim.
Just in case you don't know what happened, sitting in the exact seat that I'm in now.
Yeah.
Here in, do we call this Studio 1?
Yep.
So, Timmy G was sitting here doing the commentary on Saturday night, and in the final quarter, I must admit I wasn't watching the game because I was doing election stuff on at the same time as the results were coming in. But Tim absolutely lost the plot, and he picked up a bottle of water, and he, as I'm doing now, he threw it in a easterly direction towards the Highmarsh Square window, and it ricocheted off the glass, came flying backwards, and it hit Tom Wren in the head.
Oh, poor Tommy. Poor Tommy. Steve, thank you for that. Thanks for the weather update.
Yeah, thanks,
you don't typically get foggy mornings when it's going to be a top of 27, as is the case today, but we'll keep an eye on that. Some rain maybe around the place tomorrow. Sunrise today, 7:20. It's dark for a long time in the mornings at the moment. 82230000 is our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line as well. News headlines coming up next.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan Electrical. Save big when you upgrade the heart of your home with store-wide savings on big brand kitchen appliances. Like up to 25% off Bosch appliances across their entire range. Bosch, a brand you can trust. Get Adelaide's best prices on ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges with our price match guarantee. 1 week only. Spartan Electrical's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, zip and afterpay available. Shop local, shop Spartan, Campbelltown and Torrensville. Ends Monday.
Okay, you've found your ideal block of land. Perfect location, perfect lifestyle. Now, it's time to stroll through the Urban at the Selector Homes Display Village. Intelligently designed for a narrow block, the Urban is packed with space to suit a young family or your upcoming retirement. Contemporary facades, stone-facing, stunning courtyard. You'll make the neighbours jealous. Visit the Urban at the Selector Homes Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton.
Now, if you're fitting out a workshop, your shed or rooms around the home with extra storage, forget the flat pack. Go Sharman Shelving all the way.
This is nice because there's not in the back of your mind thinking, I want to get the shelf, but I don't want to spend a weekend putting it together. Because this is the thing we love about Sharman Shelving. It's all done for you. It's not flat packed. You're not some kind of mug. You're not going to sit there for hours trying to find, A that goes into B, and there's a little squiggly graphic that says, oh, this is something that looks like another squiggly graphic, and there's another little bag of tools, and then you just want to punch yourself in the head repeatedly because it's got to be more fun than this. They take care of it.
They certainly do. When I got my garden bench, it arrived in one piece.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything. The guys,
well, it makes sense. Imagine
they rocked up. It weighs a ton because it's so well made. solid steel, and I said, see that spot over there? That's where I'd like it to go.
Well,
and it's been there since then.
So
how's that for assembly?
Imagine if you buy a new car and they went, yeah, here's the box.
Yeah.
Great.
All you can do is put the wheels on and the engine in.
Yeah.
Give Sharman Shelving a ring. They'll come out. They'll give you a free measure and quote, then they'll deliver it, and if needed, they'll assemble it all for you too.
If you are handy, though, and you want to have a crack at putting it together yourself, they're not going to stand in your way. If you want to do that, they'll give you all the support you need.
Or you wouldn't catch Will or I taking that option. When it comes to storage solutions, everyone needs a little Sharman in their life. 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens, sharmanshelving.com.au, or take a look on Facebook.
It's value the Australian way at Coles, with 25% off Easter confectionery, including Cadbury Easter gift boxes, 150 to 220 gram. This week at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday, excludes boxed chocolates, everyday and clearance items, while stocks last.
Walko, Blanky! Walko, Blanky! Walko, Blanky! This is a game Pool and I play. Each night I come out and put her Walko blankie on. Keeps her from evaporating. But winter is coming. Soon she'll need her Walko Guardian pool cover. Sure, the fun ends, but I know she's looked after. Chemicals sealed off from the light, water clean, and no need for your pump. Get your pool a Walko Guardian pool cover for winter. Walko.com.au.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
17 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday morning. And none bigger than this. Peter Malinauskas will be sworn in today as South Australia's 47th Premier. His deputy, Susan Close, Treasurer Stephen Mulligan, will also be sworn in. The remainder of the front bench will be finalised over the next few days. Meanwhile, Stephen Marshall is stepping down as Liberal Party leader after the defeat at the weekend, and it says that as soon as the party room can elect his successor, that will be made formal. That's a whole other conversation for later in the morning, because there's suddenly not a whole lot of group of people to pick for. I was thinking...
Oh, God. Have you seen the sports bet list?
Yeah, David Spears, I think, is the favourite. I mean, I can't see how it's not David Spears or John Gardner, personally.
No.
But to do the numbers, you have to make too many phone calls at the moment.
Oh, no, you make about 3.
Yeah, you could get them all together and just have a conversation about it. Over in Ukraine, the President Volodymyr Zelensky is drawing parallels between Russia's invasion and the treatment of Jewish people in World War II. Speaking to the Israeli parliament, he claims the Kremlin is using the words "the final solution" about his people. He also pointed out Moscow launched its war on the 24th of February, the same day as Germany's Nazi Party was formed. Mr. Zelensky says it's a full-scale war aimed at destroying his nation.
The threat is the same for us and you. The total destruction of the people, of the state, of culture, and even the name of our country, Ukraine.
The latest atrocity I've seen over the weekend, see that art school?
Yeah, got bombed.
Yeah, an art school where there's families and kids hiding. Just unbelievable. Russia's just disgusting.
Australia is responding to calls for greater assistance to Ukraine. An additional $21 million in defence aid, another $30 million in emergency humanitarian assistance is being provided. The federal government will also donate at least 70,000 tonnes of thermal coal to ensure adequate power supplies. Inspectors will be sent out to hundreds of pubs across the country to make sure bartenders aren't ripping off customers. I heard this with Mel Usher. This is fantastic. The so-called pint police from the National Measurement Institute, which I would have thought if you get a career at the National Measurement Institute, you know, you're not going to be the life of the party on the weekends. Oh, how I was wrong, because what they're doing is running a week-long audit to test pubs for their measurement accuracy. You know what we're going to do?
Is this really an essential thing?
Well,
I mean, for crying out loud, can't they go and measure something else? How often does it... Given all the garbage pubs have had to put up to for the last 2 years, what is this? Is this the key sort of hip pocket issue facing Australians? The standard nip in a Scotch and Dry might be 3 mils out. What a bunch of pedants. Go and measure something else. Hate this organisation.
The National Measurement Institute.
Oh, don't get me started.
You hate the NMI?
Can't stand
I don't
it.
even know that's what they go by. I tell you what, if your job is going to pubs though and being like, oh yeah, I'm going to have another pint just to be sure, I reckon it's up there among the best jobs going around. If there's a better one, we want to hear it.
But you're like, it's like internal affairs. These guys are the toe cutters of you know, walk into a pub and just sit there. Right?
Won't somebody think of the pint drinkers? It's about time the federal government stood up on behalf of people that were consuming the alcohol.
There should actually be a separate form of covert surveillance on pubs if they give you too much head on your pint. That annoys me.
Yeah, well, maybe they do that too.
No, they're not doing that. They're just measuring stuff.
We have tickets to give away to last night at the Proms, a double pass. What do you think the best job on earth would be? If you could have switched out your career for another, 8223 0000. Maybe it's your official job is pint inspector. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Barker text line 2048 08 1395. It's got to be up there as a gig.
Yours would be something to do with sport, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, you know what I'd be? I'd be the person making all decisions for some sporting club somewhere. I don't care which one, I don't care how big, but I'd be a tyrannical dictator that would make it bend to my will.
I'd probably like to have a restaurant, but only make a restaurant that's so completely successful,
right,
that I could still take like 3 nights off a week.
Okay.
One of them being Friday or Saturday. Which is why I'm not in hospitality.
Feels less likely.
Yeah.
Pat and Barossa Valley's called in. Morning, Pat.
Yeah, good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Pat.
We went to a concert at Glenelg on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And with regard to weights and measures, well, they had 2 types of beer there, both of which I've never heard of, in 330ml cans. They were $11. And for skinny cans of vodka, and also the brands that we never heard of, $14.
Oh!
Every time we went up to buy a beer or a drink for us, because it's pretty hot down there.
Yeah, totally.
$50 for a round, like we bought 2 each.
That is stupidly expensive. And where'd the other 45 mils go on your beer, Pat?
Oh, well, who knows? But I was disgusted. You know, there was no SA brands, no Coopers, no anything. It was some single fin, which I've never heard of. And other rubbish that tastes like dishwater.
Yeah.
But I drank it because it was hot.
Yeah, it's still beer at the end of the day, isn't it?
Well, look,
Pat makes a good point.
David might be a sceptic, but that to me sounds like a job for the National Management Institute. Someone needs to flash the beer signal in the sky, and then they turn up.
No, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
Oh, David, have some fun. It's Monday morning.
No, I'm just being deliberately...
We've done election coverage all weekend.
Will and I haven't left the studio, folks. He was in here yesterday doing the footy. We were here Saturday night. We just come in every day.
Yeah, this is permanent.
At this rate, we'll be here on Good Friday.
Yeah. Where's our union? Haven't we got a Labor guy in now?
The Federated Brotherhood of Broadcasters. Sorry, that was what you call casual racism, wasn't it? I've done it again.
Yes,
Why is it when you affect the style of a union boss, you have to put on some sort of Irish or Scottish accent?
These are the kind of mistakes you make when you're being worked to the bone.
Oh, no, exactly.
There's going to be slips.
If we only had a day off, we wouldn't be making these kinds of errors. Certainly don't want to jeopardise the situation, but there's certainly some potentiality for disputation. Going to take this one up to management. Sorry.
16.2 degrees outside at the moment. Top of 27 today.
Like David Spears.
See, this wouldn't happen on Andy's watch. 26 tomorrow.
Andy.
And
he would have come and attacked me physically.
Yeah, that's right. Lucy's taking offence. It was just another Scottish joke, Lucy, don't worry. Up to 3 mils of rain potentially tomorrow. That is the start of a change that says there's some cooler weather coming through. 23 Monday, the top. Same for Wednesday. 23 on Thursday. 23 on Friday. And then the weekend warms up just a touch. 25 on Saturday and Sunday.
At Lendlease Retirement Living, we create places to live well. That's why our retirement villages are designed with your well-being in mind. From friendly neighbours and social activities to surroundings that inspire an active life, you'll discover the joy of belonging to a community that cares. It's more than just somewhere to live. It's a lifestyle that supports you to thrive. retirementbylendlease.com.au. Your place to live well.
You've heard of craft beers, sour beers, hoppy beers, malty beers, wild yeast beers, Rolling Stone beers, Indian Pale beers, and homebrew beers. But do you ever want just beer? Every Friday at 7:22, Just Beer is just $5. And for just $5, it's always just as cold, just as frothy, and just as tasty. Just like always. Just a pub the way it's meant to be, with classic favourites on tap for just $5 every Friday. Visit 722 Bar and Bistro, Port Road, Beverley.
Adelaide property values are at an all-time high. They've grown by more than 25% over the past 12 months with really strong buyer demand. And in most areas, demand is greater than supply. Vendors regularly getting multiple offers for homes with sold prices well above expectations.
Now, we know that our friends at Toop and Toop work across all suburbs, and we can tell you right now that in Torrens Park, they're working with 4,928 buyers, 5,221 in Prospect and 5,011 in Tusmore, and they're all searching for the perfect property in these specific locations.
If you're thinking of selling and would like to know how many buyers Toop and Toop are working with in your suburb, go to toop.com.au.
Who can fix the shower?
Service today.
Who can fix the power?
Service today.
Yes, we can, is what we say. Service today.
Every time you see our bright yellow trucks in your area, we're helping out your neighbours. We can help you too. So for the best plumbing, electrical, heating and cooling work, call Service Today 24/7.
Can you fix the shower? Yes, we can. Can you fix the power? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, is what we say. Service today.
Call 1300 Service.
Have you ever wondered if retirement living would suit you? Come along to an FIVEaa open home and enjoy a sneak peek of the life you could lead. These free events are from the 29th to the 31st of March at 15 FIVEaa communities across Adelaide. You can explore the communities, walk through display homes and chat with our friendly team. Attendees must be vaccinated and all events will operate with a COVID-safe plan. Take the first step and search FIVEaa Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan Electrical. Save big when you upgrade the heart of your home with store-wide savings on big brand kitchen appliances. Like up to 15% off Asco kitchen packages and up to $400 off Asco dishwashers. Get Adelaide's best prices on ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges with our price match guarantee. 1 week only. Spartan Electrical's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, zip and afterpay available. Shop local, shop Spartan, Campbelltown and Torrensville. Ends Monday.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
I'll do what you want, running wild.
27 minutes after 6. For the double pass to get along to see Last Night at the Proms. This is great, this show. Best job on earth. Let us know what you think it would be. 82230000. Maybe it's Tom Wren's. You can text us on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line. Gets to talk sport for a living. That makes it pretty good, I reckon, by my count. He's in the studio with us right now, Tom Wren. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David.
How's your head, mate?
Yeah, thankfully the water bottle was pretty empty, so it was a good throw because he's thrown it to your left, and then it's come back a good 4-5 metres.
Yeah, that's
on the
rebound.
Timmy was not happy.
No,
he was not happy, and we might get to that with the winners and losers, but we'll start with the winners. Look, I'm just going to say the debutantes. I'm not sure if I can remember a better batch of debutants having such a huge impact. They all played in losing sides, but Jack Hayes for St Kilda was outstanding, turned the game, gave them a chance. Nick Martin for Essendon was wonderful, despite the fact they were dreadful against Geelong. And Josh Rochelle yesterday, my word, have they found one there. Yeah. He was phenomenal. 5 goals and he's just got a bag of tricks. He looked superb. So I know they lost, and all 3 of those debutants lost, but they gave their sides a chance, or at least gave them some hope, and they were all outstanding.
I listened to the entire second half on radio. I have not even laid eyes on the game. I've only got an oral experience of it, courtesy of Rowie and Will here. The commentary in the third quarter was something else. I want to hear it played again. Rowie goes, Rochelle, remember this name? This is how you spell it, Rochelle. And then there's a big pause and Will goes, it's only one L. It's the funniest thing I've heard.
He was excited, Rowie.
He was but then
he's an excitement machine.
He is, isn't he? And you did a great job with him as well, Will. But then the disappointment of the result, I've got to give a winner, though, Heath Chapman for his spoil on the line. Oh, my God. Has a spoil ever won a game of football?
I've not seen anything like it. I said it during the call. It was more like a save at the World Cup than it was a football event. the way it played
to
out.
push the ball back, and then he was the one that got the kick away.
Yeah.
To clear the lines.
Amazing.
With 5 seconds. So Heath Chapman, take a bow. I mean, for Fremantle, that's a huge result. And round one, I thought round one was outstanding. I thought we had some really good games of football. So well done to the AFL. I thought it was really good. Losers from the weekend. Oh, Port's injuries. Wow. You know, Xavier Dersma looks like he's got a cracked collarbone. Trent McKenzie may have avoided the dreaded ACL, which is good. But then on the back page today, we see Aliir might have to have surgery for syndesmosis. That is a body blow. All of a sudden, they could be 2 key defenders down. That is crippling. Max Verstappen, he didn't finish the race from overnight in the Formula Ones. He's the defending champion, so a loss for him. And I'll say the water bottle is the loss from the weekend.
Yeah, big loser, the water bottle. The back of your head, or side of your head, as it might have turned out.
It's a big bonce, big target, but...
Bonce?
Yeah.
Good on you, Ren.
They're the losers. Good on you, fellas.
Good stuff. Toey Wren, check out Gliderol Garage Doors' new Timberlook Native Series sectional doors, gliderol.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny 27 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
Peter Malinauskas says there's not a moment to waste after being elected to the top job, and it starts with a trip to North Terrace. Nine's Ollie Haig has more.
Peter Malinauskas, he'll be sworn in Government House this morning, where he'll become the 47th Premier of South Australia, along with his Deputy Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan. The full Cabinet will be announced and sworn in later this week. Now, early and postal votes will begin getting counted from today, and that could see Labor's majority widen even further.
The incoming Premier also has a meeting with the Police Commissioner and Professor Nicola Spurrier to go over the current COVID restrictions. Stephen Marshall has accepted responsibility for his party's disastrous election result, and he is stepping down as Liberal Party leader, a position he's held for almost a decade. There's still a question mark over whether he'll retain the seat of Dunstan. A key recycling program will receive a $60 million cash injection in next Tuesday's federal budget. Michael Packey reports.
The Prime Minister will hit the hustings in Brisbane, promoting the government's economic credentials with the pre-election budget just over a week away. Scott Morrison will boost the Recycling Modernisation Fund by $60 million to $250 million. The money will be mainly used to pay for new technology designed to tackle problematic plastics like bread bags and chip packets. It's part of a transformation program to stop harmful plastics from entering our oceans, choking up waterways and destroying marine life.
Adelaide's festival season came to an end last night, with the Fringe and Festival wrapping up for 2022. Fringe director Heather Kroll says it's a challenge to stage an event of that magnitude during a pandemic.
We had over 6,000 artists and 1,100 shows in 350 venues. In many ways this year was much harder than last year. Because of COVID being in the community, this was the toughest Fringe, I would say, ever.
Thousands of people trapped in the besieged city of Mariupol are believed to have been forcibly deported to Russia. The city council claims people, mostly women and children, were taken from a bomb shelter. Correspondent Amelia Adams says Russia will do anything to control Mariupol.
Fighting has reached the city centre, and it seems like it is going towards being under Russian control. No one said that it is occupied yet. Every day we think the situation there can't get any worse, and then we hear reports that are worse.
Still overseas, and at least 6 people are dead after a car crashed into a folklore parade in Belgium. And the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have kicked off their royal tour of the Caribbean in Belize. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty. 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Fremantle has beaten Adelaide by just 1 point at Adelaide Oval in a thrilling match. The Crows kicked 6 goals to none in the third term, but a late surge got the Dockers over the line. Crows coach Matthew Nix admits he may have given his players a little bit too much of a spray.
I hate losing. And I feel for the group, and I probably give them a little bit too much of a spray in there, but then I give them the love again, because the response they give at half-time makes you proud of what I know they've got ticker, but I get so frustrated for them.
Andrew McPherson was subbed out with some hamstring tightness, but the club is hopeful it's not too serious. Well, Port Adelaide fans are waiting to hear if defender Aliir will require surgery after injuring his ankle against Brisbane, while Trent McKenzie hurt his knee and Xavier Dersma has suffered a suspected cracked collarbone. And there were 2 games to wrap up the round yesterday, with Gold Coast 27-point winners over West Coast, while Hawthorn beat North Melbourne by 20 points. Well, Daniel Ricciardo's had a disappointing start to the Formula 1 season, finishing 14th at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Ferrari recorded a 1-2 finish, with Charles Leclerc finishing ahead of Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. Plenty of overseas soccer action, with Liverpool moving into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. That's following a hard-fought 1-0 win against Nottingham Forest. They'll now take on Manchester City after City smashed Southampton 4-1. And 2 games in the English Premier League, with Tottenham 3-1 winners over West Ham, while Tottenham got up 2-1 against Brentford. Make that Leicester, rather. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
A mostly sunny Monday and a top of 27, a shower or 2 tomorrow, 26. Wednesday, partly cloudy and 23. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7, placed the weather shortly. We're off to the US before 7 o'clock, then after 7:30 today. Peter Malinauskas will join us for the last time in the next 4 years, where we're not introducing him as the Premier. That takes place, the formalities happen a little bit later today. Lots of texts on that front and across the spectrum in the first hour on the Telstra Storm Mount Parker text line.
Couple here, though, about the mishap that Tommy Wren had, courtesy of an errant water bottle thrown by Timmy G on Saturday night. Bernie asks, will Timmy G face a 5AA tribunal hearing, maybe a 2-game suspension? When is the hearing? They're normally held on Tuesday night, aren't they?
Well, 5AA is a bit like, that wonderful time in football in this country where nobody saw it. It didn't really happen.
Yeah, it's sort of like the
tree falls in a forest tribunal.
Like the 1989 grand final.
Yeah, that's right.
Timmy G cast the role of Mark Yates.
It's a tough game.
That's funny. Looks like Dermot Brereton's done himself a mischief. Quite a bit of feedback about the election. Peter asks, can Sharman Shelving put the Liberal Party back together? I reckon they could. If anyone can, it's the people at Sharman Shelving. One here, Mark in Leafy Glenside. Good morning, lads. Day 2 of the Brave New World. I'm walking to work down Greenhill Road doing corflute reconnaissance, and I'm pleased to report that all the Labor and Liberal ones have been taken down, but there's a few stray Green ones up.
Come on, Greens. Littering.
Aren't these meant to be the people who protect the environment? What a pack of hypocrites. One here, good morning. Also from the election, looks like Vicky Chapman will win her seat, yet there's still a big black cloud hanging over her future. By-election coming up perhaps. Marshall should have dismissed her last year. That's Stephen from Mount Barker, a.k.a. Dan the Man Country. Could be.
He tried dismissing a few
Liberal Conservatives using an assumed name, actually, that text message.
Stephen Marshall dismissing fellow Liberals didn't really work out for him on election day.
No.
So I'm not sure if that would have been the right move politically for her.
She'd probably run as an independent.
Yeah, and she would have won even more comfortably.
That's right. Rob here puts it in excellent South Australian perspective. In all seriousness, guys, how will life change with the change of government in a day-to-day sense? It feels that these governments are often different in name only, and my life goes on as usual. Tessa in Paraka.
Can I just say to that, thank God. Like that's a sign that we live in a part with minimal interference from government, and it can change, and the philosophy can change, and you might not notice it. I actually think that people say that to denigrate the political parties. I think it's a celebration of living in Western democracy. Like, thank God.
When you hear people go, oh, it's Tweedledum and Tweedledee, it's like, well, yeah, okay. Maybe it is a bit. Maybe they are comparable, but maybe it's because there's a sort of Western liberal consensus that there's a generally intelligent way of running society. And I was thinking that watching the debate, the Sky News Tizer debate on Thursday, that there's 2 blokes who are opponents standing there inches away from each other. Now, if you tried to do that in Moscow, there's a pretty good chance that the bloke not in power would pass out on the way back to his car because someone had gassed him.
Yeah.
In all seriousness.
What's happened?
Another one here from Tessa, who was robbed in the seat of King. She ran as an independent. Vote 1 for more accents, she said, in response to my Doug Cameron impersonation earlier. And Matt from Semaphore says, morning boys, after watching the election live stream until stumps on Saturday, I vote that you, David, be made to get on the stubbies for every show. It was excellent. And Will's rural member faux pas was a standout. Was it ever?
Matt, we have a rule about election night. What happens on election night stays on election night.
That's right.
So if you missed it,
no replays.
Tune in 4 years' time. Sorry.
Well, no, tune in 2 months' time.
That's true. Federal election.
And what about that federal election? We now have seats to watch in South Australia.
2.
Yep.
I asked John Olsen about that before the footy coverage on the weekend.
What did he say?
He wasn't impressed. He wanted to talk footy. No.
Yeah, well, federal president of the Liberal Party. He's now.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
I reckon his report to the National Committee would have, been one paragraph saying, nothing to report, everything chugging along well, Boothby still looking safe.
Yeah.
Now he's got a couple of appendices to add.
19 minutes to 7. Time to check traffic for the first time this morning. The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV shows on Her Majesty's Theatre. Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Thanks, Will. At Myland, works on Henley Beach Road near South Road. 1 lane out, speeds at 40. O'Halloran Hill works continue there on Majors Road near the Southern Expressway. That's affecting both directions. And we've got speeds reduced this morning at Myrtle Bank. That's for the intersection upgrade of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Roads. Cameras, Anzac Highway, Glenelg, Hillier Road, Ranella, Mate Terrace, Brooklyn Park. Experience an Oporto Bondi Burger meal for just $9.90 today. Fresh Portuguese grilled chicken breast burger with chips and a drink for a limited time only at Oporto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The most innovative paintbrush has arrived. Monarch Advanced Neo. Designed with ultra-tapered technology which picks up and releases up to 25% more paint. Faster, easier, with no brush marks. Available now at all paint specialists. Monarch Advanced Neo.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they're offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Now, did you get one of these great state experience vouchers? Well, Sealink have some incredible tours that you can use your vouchers on.
Birds, bees, wine and cider, sample kangaroo. I love the bee farm in the middle of KI there near Pandana. Sample Kangaroo Island produce on Sealink's Sip and See tour.
Journey from the CBD, Cape Jervis or KI to discover Kangaroo Island's thriving food and wine industry. You'll meet a myriad of birds of prey at Raptor Domain before your tour guide introduces you to some of the local producers.
I love Raptor Domain. We were there last July.
You
two
sent
years
a video,
in a row.
Didn't you? Of the
There was a barn owl crawling on my arm.
Yeah.
It was terrific. Emu Ridge Eucalyptus Distillery, they put on a delicious 2-course lunch and they take you on a distillery tour, plus, and there's a great little back road to get there, plus this cider tasting. Then, as I mentioned, Clifford's Honey Farm. I bought the little old cookbook from Clifford's Honey Farm and I made a Swiss roll with honey cream in it. Don't normally make desserts, but it was lovely. The Clifford's Honey Farm, it's a treat for the sweet tooths. Then there's spectacular Pennington Bay, the perfect photo op, before you soak up the views and the vino at False Cape Wines. What a winery.
Yeah, escape with Sealink. Visit southaustralia.com/voucher, search Sealink and book your great state experience by March 31 to travel by May 31.
You deserve to enjoy doing what you're passionate about. Gardening, for example, or walking to keep fit. So if your body is stopping you from enjoying the life you want, come and see us at SportsMed. Our Stepney Healthcare Hub includes our own hospital, orthopaedic surgeons, doctors, physios and podiatrists, so we can see to your care from diagnosis to rehabilitation, all in one place. Easy. Get back to doing what you love. sportsmed.com.au.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan Electrical. Save big when you upgrade the heart of your home with store-wide savings on big brand kitchen appliances. Like up to 30% off the RRP of Electrolux kitchen appliances and discover the new Electrolux laundry range. Get Adelaide's best prices on ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges with our price match guarantee. 1 week only. Spartan Electrical's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, zip and afterpay available. Shop local, shop Spartan, Campbelltown and Torrensville. Ends Monday.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
"15 minutes to 7.
Can someone explain to me why, and I'm not sure if Gemma's listening, Gemma Jones, the excellent editor of The Advertiser, but for some weird reason, on the bottom of page 5, there's a little pocket photograph of Peter Malinowskis' shoe. Just his shoe.
Well, that's in-depth coverage, isn't it? Is anyone else doing the shoe angle?
Well, no, the
Who have we got on
Australian
the shoe
missed it
angle
this morning. Just a big close-up of his R.M. Williams boot.
They'll be
Just sitting there.
TV newsrooms in a couple of hours. They'll be saying, "Hey, who's on the shoes?
That's right.
What have we got on them? Right, left, right boot."
Yeah, exactly. We've been scooped.
Unbelievable.
Scooped on the boot story.
Can we do a shoe spoiler story? Here's
Maybe.
what you're not being told about Mally's shoes.
Yeah, the truth behind if you can't govern your boots, how can you govern South Australia?
Let's talk weather. John Fisher is senior forecaster at the Bureau. John, good morning to you.
Morning, guys.
What kind of Monday do we have coming up?
Yeah, so look, currently sitting around 16 degrees here in the city. It's pretty much as cool as it's been all night, but heading for a maximum of 27 degrees today, mostly sunny conditions. So yeah, a little bit cooler than it was over the weekend where we reached the low 30s there, but still, yeah, sunny day today across the metropolitan area, looking at a little bit cooler along the coast, 26 at Noarlunga, 27 at Glenelg, and 28 up at Elizabeth. So yeah, pretty good conditions today. Those southerly winds though will freshen just a little bit on coastal waters with sea breeze this afternoon, so getting up to around 15 to 20 knots north of Brighton in the late afternoon and early evening there. And then for the rest of the working week there, a little bit of change on the way tomorrow. So still a mild day, around 26 as a maximum, but we're going to see some cloud build through the day, and looking like just a chance of a shower, kind of on and off through much of the day, but not looking at a whole bunch of rain. So we've got 0 to 3 millimetres on the forecast, but it's probably looking like the lower end of that range, to be honest. But yeah, expect a shower to around at times tomorrow, and then temperatures behind that change dropping back for the mid to late part of the week. So around 23 degrees and pretty much mostly dry from Wednesday right through to Friday, guys.
Good on you, John. Thanks for that.
That's John Fisher, senior forecaster at the Bureau. Senior Constable Kate Dawson has some detail on a suspicious fire in the CBD overnight. What's happened there, Kate?
Yeah, this was just before 1 a.m. this morning. Patrols and fire crews were called to Wright Street after reports that a vacant building was on fire. So when emergency services arrived at the scene, they located the old hotel fully ablaze, and MFS got to work battling the fire. So in about an hour, crews got that fire under control, but the building was extensively damaged. Police believe that the fire may have been deliberately lit, and we've just asked our fire corps investigators to attend the scene this morning to assist with the investigation. So we're just asking anybody with any information about the fire to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333 000.
Kate, also a teenager's been arrested in a stolen vehicle in the southern suburbs.
Yeah, this was about 11:15 last night. Patrols spotted a white Honda travelling on States Road at Morphett Vale. So checks on the car revealed it had been stolen from South Plympton sometime overnight between Saturday and Sunday. Southern Patrols didn't chase the car at the time, but they called for the assistance of Polair, who just happened to be flying in the area. So Polair was quickly overhead, and they followed the car as it travelled through the back streets of Morphett Vale. About 15 minutes later, the car came to a stop on Collins Parade in Hackham, and it was quickly surrounded by patrols on the ground, who arrested the driver and sole occupant, who actually turned out to be a 15-year-old from Christie's Beach.
Jeez.
So, yeah, he's been charged with illegal use of motor vehicle, speeding and driving unlicensed, never held, and he'll appear in the Christie's Beach Youth Court at a later date.
Still a year shy of being able to legally drive.
Thank you, Kate.
Exactly.
Good on you, Kate.
Thanks.
Senior Constable Kate Dawson from SAPOL. Now, Peter Malinowskis has been the Premier-elect for, 48 hours? It's time to issue our first apology.
Yeah, that's right. It's official. I'm an idiot. You know what? Should have gone to Specsavers. Part of the problem, I think I need to go up a level, because I was sitting here squinting at it. To my crappy 53-year-old eyes, it looked to me like this was a boot with the cuff of the jeans rolled up.
Right.
Trendy. Yeah. No, not at all. As several people on the Telstra Stormont Market text line have pointed out, it's actually a boot with an ankle bracelet on it, and it is on page 5 of the Advertiser because it's next to the box explaining all of the key policy changes, and the home detention bracelet relates to the law and order changes. So clearly it is not the Premier-elect's boot. He is not wearing a home detention bracelet. We apologise unreservedly. And should probably just move along as quickly as possible to the next segment, Will.
All right.
Take it from here.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
I'd just like to apologise to the Tiser. I got a text from the Sunday Mail's editor, Paul Ashton, too, saying, mate, I wasn't working yesterday, but I'm pretty sure that's a GPS tracking device. You half-wit. Anyway, as you were.
Oh, it was good to get the first apology out the way early in the piece.
Oh, I think we were the first media organisation to apologise to the new Premier.
When a mistake was made, 5AA was there. 10 to 7, we're off to the US. And
some radio stations make their mistakes interstate. Not us. We make them in High Mars Square every day.
With apologies.
Right.
Mum? Dad?
Hey, honey.
I've met someone.
Oh my God, is he a doctor? A lawyer? Is he a surgeon?
He's a concreter. From Adelaide Exposed Concrete.
But why? Didn't you say so?
At Adelaide Exposed Concrete, we're committed to the highest standards of service, design and workmanship.
Finally, we've got a concreter in the family.
Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground, all year round.
Let's get things back off track with the Nissan X-Trail, featuring Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Plus, get a standard 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and roadside assist. Nissan, experience X-Trail. T's and C's apply.
Everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, sold by McGain again.
And because there's buyers everywhere at the moment, you can expect plenty of great offers on your home right away.
McGain have families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale right now. So if you are looking to sell, contact the brilliant team at McGain and ask them about their McGain match strategy, because they could already have the perfect buyer for your property right now.
With the largest amount of buyer activity in the past 20 years, it's the perfect time to act, and just another reason why everywhere you look there's a sign popping up saying, you've got it, sold by McGain again.
5AA's Business Lounge with Leith Forrest.
Thank you. Today in the Business Lounge, we are talking to Larry Moore, the Executive Director of NECA. Larry, welcome. What is NECA?
Yeah, hi, Leith. NECA is the National Electrical and Communications Association, and we are an industry body for the electrical and communications contracting sectors.
How do people know if their electrician is a NECA member?
Well, what we have done, we have set up a website for the general public called findanelectrician.com.au. You can search your area and get a list of electricians to suit you, and they're all part of NECA, their industry body.
Let's say we want to add a power point. What do we do?
All electrical work is covered by what is in South Australia the PGE Act, which is a legislation which requires any electrical work to be either a registered electrical worker or a licensed electrical contractor. So therefore it is illegal. You can't do the work.
Don't do it yourself. Larry, thank you for coming in. Larry Moore from the National Electrical and Communications Association. Go to findanelectrician.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Give me a head with hair.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 7. Peter Malauska's coming up after 7:30 on the program. On the other side of the spectrum, and in the federal sphere, it'll be Liberal Senator for South Australia Simon Birmingham after 8:30 today. So you hear the state election and the upcoming federal election covered in depth this morning on 5AA Breakfast. In and around all that, we've got tickets to give away to a couple of cracking shows and $100 worth of free fuel to give you as well.
Free fuel.
That's going to be fun. Thanks, David and Will. We're going to be playing again after 8 o'clock today.
That's all you have to say. Indeed, it's all you're allowed to say.
Don't say anything else.
You can say thanks, David and Will, or you can say thanks, Will and David. But you can't say, hello, how are you?
No.
Thanks for having me.
In fact, it's a game that actively punishes people with manners.
Yeah.
And they're polite and lovely, and the kind of people that probably deserve a reward.
But you shouldn't say to people, how are you, or anything.
No.
Just say...
Not in the context of this
You're on the air. You're on the air.
Oh, you're saying I shouldn't lead them?
Well, yeah, it's like leading the witness.
That's part of the fun, isn't it? Or do you think it's like is that a level of cruelty that goes too far?
Kelly's got a question. She'd love to hear, how did the Crow supporters go entering Adelaide Oval with the new digital ticketing? I wouldn't know. I wasn't there.
What?
I was babysitting.
It wasn't.
Shouldn't say babysitting when they're your own children.
We never got physical tickets, so we were. I think there would have been a lot of people that got to Friday, Saturday going, hang on, where are those tickets we've got? But they're on the AFC app. You can get in with those. So it would be interesting how it went. I tell you what people struggled with the game yesterday was the heat. There were multiple people that collapsed and had to be tended to in the eastern stand, sitting out in the sun all day. Multiple people that came to mischief.
It was a hot day.
Yeah, it was just beaming down. It was tough sitting on the concrete, but we'll talk more about the game itself with Stephen Rowe just before 7:30. Right now we're off to the US. Tim Lester for 7 News is on the line. Morning to you, Tim.
Morning, guys.
So, Tim, we talked briefly before about Ukraine. We've seen some shocking scenes yet again over the weekend. What's the latest in terms of how it's all being viewed from the United States?
Well, and in line with the tragedy that we're seeing unfolding, the Secretary of Defence has been on one of the morning political shows here in what, of course, is still Sunday in the US, saying that what's happening in Ukraine is now disgusting, particularly because, as the Americans see it, they're now reading that the Russian military has got itself deep into trouble in terms of its original attack plan and is now so bogged down it's resorting to essentially a strategy of terrorising the cities, and that means killing civilians. And there's been a particular case overnight of a bombing of a school where it's believed 400 people were sheltering. Now, there's no idea at this stage because of the environment there of what the actual casualties are, but it does look quite terrifying and terribly needless in terms of the targeting of a school, so the US very much now saying that they believe Putin's military at least is in a frame of no longer carrying out the attack it envisaged, but of terrorising the population.
Is there much chat in the States, Tim, about what more can be done, or do you think that we're seeing the full extent of the American response, which is pretty much hit the economy hard, but do absolutely everything to avoid getting into a hot war, sort of direct hand-to-hand conflict type situation with the Russians?
Well, you've pointed to the problem, and I think that we're close to the limit that of where the US can go whilst the war is in Ukraine, or can and will go, because there's no major forces in the US who are arguing for joining a conflict against Russia. Even the Conservatives and fierce opponents of Biden are saying we've got to avoid a direct conflict, a hot war with Russia, where the US is on one side. So he's backed in that. Of course, he's laid down the law in terms of any attack on NATO allies. So that's the Third World War scenario that so many fear. But whilst it's in Ukraine, I think you're probably right. The US is pretty close to its limits.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Tim. Tim Lester from the 7 News US Bureau. Thanks very much for that, mate. There's a cracking text here from Russell on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line. Hey guys, I'm a passionate member of the Liberal Party, still reeling from the weekend. I'm also a mad St Kilda, South Adelaide and Redbacks fan. In the words of Kamal, why is life so unfair?
Oh, that is a drought, isn't it?
That's pretty grim.
In fact, just looking at that list,
63 was South Adelaide or 64?
Well, yeah, you're going back to the 60s for both St Kilda and South Adelaide, and the Redbacks is what the Shield win in about 95. In fact, the most rewarding
in 4 years' time too, for the Liberals, in 4 years' time, in 2026, they will have been in power for 4 of the previous 24 years.
Yeah. So if we look at Russell's fandom in the world, the organisation that's rewarded him the most has in fact been the South Australian Liberal Party.
They've had a few wins since the 60s.
They have. Not any two-termers. No back-to-backs.
Well, in fact, it almost lines up with St Kilda and the Panthers, because the last time a sitting Liberal Premier was re-elected, working backwards, so it wasn't Stephen Marshall, it wasn't Rob Kerrin, it wasn't John Olsen, it wasn't Dean Brown, it wasn't David Tonkin, it wasn't Steele Hall, it was Thomas Playford, I think in 1962, which is about the same time as
Who, to be fair, had by that stage, what, about 9 in a row?
Yeah, although I think at that election the popular vote was Labor 63%, Liberal 37%, and they romped it in.
Favourable redistributions back then, wasn't they?
He knew two things. He knew how to create heavy industry, and he knew how to draw an electoral map.
5AA News is on the way. We'll wrap some of the stories that have transpired overnight throughout the morning, including some of our election wrap on Saturday night that if you missed, you'll hear a bit of right after 5AA News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
While Peter Malinauskas is preparing to be sworn in as the new Premier, his predecessor is still waiting to find out whether he's retained his seat. The Premier-elect's new job will be made official this morning during a trip to Government House. His Deputy Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will also be sworn in. The remainder of the Malinauskas front bench will be finalised over the next few days. Mr Malinauskas will meet with Grant Stevens and Nicholas Spurrier today to ensure SA's COVID restrictions are in line with the country's. And work on the 500 will begin, the supercars already tweeting their support, with the race set to return in the first week of December. He'll also be on air with David and Will this morning. Meantime, Stephen Marshall is stepping down as Liberal Party leader after Labor's landslide victory on the weekend. He says that will happen as soon as the party room can elect his successor. Marshall's fate in the seat of Dunstan may become clearer today, with the counting of postal and pre-poll votes getting underway. A pharmacy at Woodville Gardens has gone up in flames. The blaze broke out around 7:45 last night at the Hanson Road property. The business was destroyed. Police don't believe the fire is suspicious. Shane Warne has been farewelled in a touching private funeral attended by his closest family and friends. Everyone who was there yesterday was handed a St Kilda scarf when they arrived. The Spin King was taken on a final lap of the Saints ground at Moorabbin. Sam Newman and Eddie Maguire among those paying tribute.
The common theme that came through was Warnie's life lesson from his family, and that is manners are free and you should use them, and he did all through his life.
It's as good as it gets.
The federal government is unveiling its plan to modernise Australia's payment systems. More than 800,000 people from around the country have invested in cryptocurrency since 2018. But at this stage, purchase and sale of virtual assets in Australia is largely unregulated. Financial Services Minister Jane Hume says that's about to change.
Government can't guarantee the value of your crypto any more than it can guarantee a painting. But we can make sure the Australian players in the crypto ecosystem work within a regulatory framework that's better and safer.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is drawing parallels between Russia's invasion and the treatment of Jewish people in World War II. Speaking to the Israeli parliament, he claims the Kremlin is using the words "the final solution" about his people. Mr. Zelensky says it is a full-scale war aimed at destroying his nation.
The threat is the same for us and you. The total destruction of the people, of the state, of culture, and even the name of our country, Ukraine.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty. 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And with all the wash-up from the footy, here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Bill. Adelaide is still smarting after suffering a 1-point loss against Fremantle in a thriller at Adelaide Oval. The Crows led by 19 points in the final quarter but couldn't hold on as the Dockers came back for a thrilling victory. Some big positives, though, for Adelaide, which included the form of debutant Josh Rochelle, who booted 5 goals, while Jordan Dawson had a big second half and collected 17 touches for the game, along with a goal of his own. Coach Matty Nick says he was happy with what he saw.
We're asking a lot of him to come back in after not playing footy and expect it to be at its best. And we've seen so much over the pre-season where he's brought so much to this footy club. So, but yeah, he made an impact in the second half.
Adelaide United has played out a 0-0 draw against the Western Sydney Wanderers to remain in third spot on the A-League ladder. Meantime, in overseas action, Manchester City and Liverpool have set up a dream semi-final clash in the FA Cup. That's after both recorded wins this morning. Well, the Adelaide 36ers have slumped to their 13th loss of the season after being humbled 101-74 against Melbourne United. Meantime, LeBron James has overtaken Karl Malone to become the NBA's second all-time leading scorer. He's still 1,140 points behind, though, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
At O'Halloran Hill, reports of a smash on the Southern Expressway. Myland works on Henley Beach Road near South Road. One lane out, speeds at 40 there. Speeds reduced around Myrtle Bank. That's for the intersection upgrade works of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Roads. With cameras this morning, Hillier Road, Ranella, Mortimer Street, Karata Park and Railway Terrace at Keswick Terminal. The Volvo XC40 has the drive to keep winning. 2022 Drive Car of the Year. Best small luxury SUV. Judge for yourself at your local Volvo dealer. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Mostly sunny, 27 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 26, and then dropping back to 23 on Wednesday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6:07, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday for joining us for the first time. Still a little bit dark out there. It's actually going to be a reasonably nice day. 27, bit of fog around the way. Goolwa way. We had a caller earlier that said be wary of it. We'll get more weather details for you at about 7:45. The sunrise officially is still 14 minutes away at 7:20 this morning. A bit further than that away, once the sun is up, Peter Malinauskas will join us after 7:30, ahead of being officially sworn in as the Premier of South Australia a little bit later today. Simon Birmingham on after 8:30 will pick over the carnage and the entrails of what happened from the Liberal side of things and what it means for the federal election, I guess, most importantly, after 8:30. We've got free fuel to give away. We've got tickets to see a couple of great shows as well, including last night at the Proms, where we're going to speak with Adelaide Symphony Orchestra Director Guy Noble in about 10 minutes' time. But we start with the state election fallout and a wrap of how it all played out on 5AA on Saturday night. Here's how it happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, a few moments ago I called the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Peter Malinauskas, and I conceded, and I congratulated him on his campaign, and I congratulated him on becoming the 47th Premier of South Australia.
I can't remember in my 52 years on this earth a result this stark and this emphatic. And I tell you, there's so many questions that the Liberal Party has to ask itself. If this campaign was a dog, you would have put it down.
It's the sort of result, as we've said, that you'd expect probably lead to a multi-term Malinauskas government. In the history books, will make this whole period of the Marshall government look more like an intermission than an actual term.
Let them say that we had a generational investment in health and mental health to ensure that when people call 000, the ambulance rolls up on time.
Malinauskas is going to have a long period of time while the Liberal Party in this state tries to find its feet again, where he's going to have a long, nice run-up.
They're like a Rotary Club, the South Australian Liberal Party. They got no menace.
No, they're not the stewards of government.
Yeah,
we're here.
But now they're finding out, and this is actually what it looks like when you don't run things. The biggest mistake they made, the moment Labor went hell for leather, attacking the entertainment centre as a waste of money, not only did they not respond to it, they became sort of sheepish to the point of being ashamed of the fact that they promised the basketball stadium anyway. I thought Carolyn Powell might hold on. I thought the repat might be a factor there because the electorate's covered in repat signs. Although some of the Labor Party said to me the other day, what are we going to do, close it again? Like, we closed it, they reopened it, we're not going to close it.
I suppose the argument would be if there was a group of people that were going to be sceptical of Labor's plans to fix health, it might have been the people that were the home of the repat. But they weren't.
You remember me? I do. How's it going? All right? You doing well?
Yeah!
Good man, good man. I'm glad to see you doing well.
Oh, no, that's not good. I forgot my belt.
The V8's cancellation was a stupid decision, a short-sighted decision. The manner in which the former Premier handled that decision, where he said, well, this is what I've been advised. It's like, no, you're the Premier. If you think the advice is crap, ignore it or overrule it.
I thought for the small portion of Newland, Labor's been in power for 10 minutes and we've already had a blackout. I have had a look at the SA Power Network's map, and no word of a lie.
Yes, I'm going to do what I haven't done for 40 years, only go and get maggoted straight up.
We don't know if he did. That's Rob Lucas on the 9 coverage on the night. But that's how it played out on the night. Some of the interactions with listeners we had. It was interesting because it was all done and dusted by the time we got an air on Saturday night. But in a sense, it meant the conversation could progress beyond simple vote tallying to why we arrived at that place and what it means for what comes next.
The campaign really was an unmitigated disaster for the Liberals. I know that Sacha Meldrum, the state director of the Liberal Party, seems to be getting a fair degree of criticism for the manner in which it was conducted. That smacks to me very much of people in the parliamentary party or people who were in the parliamentary party looking for a scapegoat. My understanding, talking from some people, is that one person who played a very influential role in the running of the Liberal campaign was the member for Sturt, the federal seat of Sturt, James Stephens, who's a former Chief of Staff to the Premier, former Premier Stephen Marshall. Now, he ran these daily meetings about tactics. Well, the sum result of the tactics that the Liberal Party used for James Stephens seemed to be that his seat's now being regarded as winnable for the Labor Party at the looming federal election.
I believe that. I mean, there's no one in politics, I imagine, that Stephen Marshall would have trusted more than James Stephens, his former Chief of Staff. Yeah, so Boothby has gone from being in play to something that Labor would like to think they will pick up. And
I know that this election was fought very much on state issues, but the vibe of the times is so inextricably linked to the huge popularity that Newspoll detected surrounding Peter Malinowskis weeks ago.
Yep.
That people simply came to like him as a good bloke. And like 2 months from now, he'll still be in his honeymoon period. And he said yesterday he's going to be doing everything he can to elect an Albanese government. If you get sort of Malinowskis street walks up, Paynham Road and round Campbelltown and all of the various other beautiful parts of the seat of Sturt, and if you get him out there in Boothby on the stump as well, helping Labor's candidate, that's going to be a factor that the Libs are going to have to contend with.
It'll be a factor here.
At the very least, it's put these seats into the contest, which means they're going to have to divert resources. Until Saturday night, Scott Morrison's re-election strategy was to hold seats in Queensland, stem any losses in Victoria and New South Wales, hopefully pick up a seat in Tasmania and maybe a seat in Western Australia. Now the strategy is very much also huge attention for South Australia to make sure they don't lose Boothby and they don't lose Sturt.
Yep. Scott Morrison, the best thing he's got going for him is that Anthony Albanese isn't Peter Malinowskis.
Well, that was his comment yesterday. It was a good one.
Yeah, and I think it's right.
You could see, talk about people having stars in their eyes. I think Albo wasn't here Friday to lend his magic to Peter Malinowskis. It was more the other way around.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. 13 after 7, let's get to some of the other stories that are around this morning. Shane Warne's family and friends have bid the legend farewell yesterday at a private funeral in Melbourne. Here is Eddie Maguire and Sam Newman speaking about Shane Warne.
The common theme that came through was Warnie's life lesson from his family, and that is manners are free, and you should use them. And he did all through his life.
It was as good as it gets. I hope they pack out the MCG. That'd be a fitting tribute to a great man.
Larger-than-life character, but it was a very private affair, just some 80 guests there to say final goodbyes on Sunday. Obviously, there's a bigger public celebration that's going to take place.
They're saying 50,000 people. I would not be surprised
Might be more, yeah.
if it's filled. If I lived in Melbourne, I'd go to that. Would you go?
Nah.
You wouldn't?
Nah.
I'd go just because I'd like to see his life. I'd like to see all the videos of him again. Like on the Saturday week ago, I just spent 4 hours just watching Fox Sports News over and over, just watching all of the footage. Like, I'm guessing you wouldn't go because you hate that sort of Princess Diana style public grieving thing.
No, yeah. Well,
what do they call it? They call it stadium grief.
He totally deserves it.
Yeah, I reckon he does.
But personally, I just always see a funeral as a really private family thing.
Yeah, sure.
That's just me. I don't begrudge anyone.
It's not a funeral. It's like a public.
No, it's more of a. It's right. It's a celebration. You're right, but that's just me. I tell you what, the Fringe.
I just read a great text here. Ben in Royston Park says, Liberal headquarters went to a knife fight armed with a bamboo fork, a quinoa salad and a lightly chilled Pinot. Higher taxes, here we come.
The Fringe wrapped up last night. They did some remarkable numbers given the circumstances in which they were trading. 3.2 million attendances over 31 days and nights. 3.2 million over the month that it was going on.
Great numbers.
It is remarkable. They did just shy of $20 million in takings at the box office. 19.7 million. 32,000 interstate tourists were comprised that as well. 86,400 tickets they alone were responsible for.
I managed to get to one thing, and it was so good. Took the whole family along. We went to the Sky Show, down in Leakenfield.
Yep.
Where they told Archie Roach, telling all of these Indigenous stories about Indigenous connection of the land and the history of Australia and everything else, all set to music and his narration. But they had all these drones in formation, making all animals in the sky.
So you saw that? My wife went and saw that on Saturday night while we were doing the election coverage.
Did she love it?
She thought it was great.
Yeah. I think it's on again later this week. I think it's on next Friday.
Yeah.
Check it out. Go on the website, Fringe website, and don't quote me on that. Given my track record this morning about what the photo on page 5 of the Advertiser is.
Nobody mentioned the boot.
No, the boot, that happened in the last hour.
As you can imagine, the Fringe director Heather Kroll was delighted.
An amazing year because that money, that box office money, gets injected back to the artists and the venues. Absolutely brilliant. This year was much harder than last year. Because of COVID being in the community, this was the toughest Fringe, I would say, ever.
Delighted that hopefully it's the last one we talk about COVID-tainted event. You know what the nice thing about the footy yesterday was? It felt like the first real normal footy game in forever. There was no shred of conversation about crowd restrictions. There was
the attendance
was low. It was
about 30,000.
Super hot.
Love to know.
Low expectations.
But there's clearly like 15,000 odd Crows members who are just choosing not to go to the football still. Why aren't you going? Are people worried? Perhaps it's older people who are worried about COVID. Maybe given the profile of the Adelaide Football Club, maybe it was people who are so devastated by the election result Saturday that can't get out of bed yet. Or that'd be more the board.
Very sombre occasion, you would have thought. For some of them.
That's just a joke if you're listening, John Olsen.
All right, let's check traffic. The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Thanks, Will. Out of Halloran Hill, got a smash on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. That's inbound. Works continuing Mile End, Henley Beach Road near South Road. One lane out of action, speeds reduced. Myrtle Bank speeds also reduced there. That's for the intersection upgrade of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road. And cameras this morning, May Terrace, Brooklyn Park, Rolls Road, Lockleys and Southern Expressway at Lonster. Get $20 off at Coles when you spend $250 or more online. Ends tomorrow. Head to coles.com.au and use promo code SAVE20. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When it comes to AFL, no one has it covered like Rowie Sport Show. The players in the inner sanctum, Rory Sloane, Charlie Dixon, Brodie Smith and Connor Rosie. And the game's leading experts, Lee Matthews, Graham Corns, Caroline Wilson, Kevin Sheedy, Mark Bickley and Tim Ginniver. What a goal! Everything AFL in 2022, only on Rowie Sport Show.
This is Paula. Paula loves her pool. Nothing beats a refreshing splash in the sun. But Paula has a problem. She gets the gilts having the pump on all day. Well, Paula, save your gilts for walking through the house with wet feet, because NRG Solar gives you electricity guilt-free. Just guilt-free clean pools all day long.
Electricity guilt-free with NRG.
Dry your feet, Paula. NRGsolar.com.au.
Get in here. It's Sheeds. We don't have the time to mess around. We can't afford any more downtime, and we need a result. It's about trust, and for hydraulic hose repairs, Ryco 24/7 are the ones. They'll get to you wherever you are. Their vans are on the road with fully qualified repairers, and they are supported by that other great South Australian team, BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. Call Ryco 24/7 on 133247 or visit ryco247.com.au.
Time is running out. The absolute final deadline to get tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight this Thursday.
You don't want to miss this one. You could be given the keys to your brand new, fully furnished Scott Salisbury home at Somerton Park.
Imagine that. Sitting back in your new comfy couch, relaxing in your pool. Still a bit
Nice.
of pool weather around. Living the dream, mortgage free. That's the key bit. Thinking of all the things you could do with also the other bit of this, you got $500,000 in cash, by the way, that comes with the grand prize.
Nice. What an incredible prize to win. More importantly, every ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery joins the fight for world-leading research, improved treatment and vital healthcare services in our community.
Don't miss out. You only have until midnight Thursday to get your tickets. Join the fight. Visit homelottery.com.au and get your tickets now.
There's something you should know about SportsMed. We don't just provide knee, hip and shoulder care to elite athletes. Every day, we treat patients who simply want to get play with the kids fit, brisk walk fit or gardening fit. And having our clinic, hospital and specialists all based together at Stepney makes getting care for your joint pain and injuries, from diagnosis to rehabilitation, even easier. So get back to doing what you love. Speak with your GP for a referral. sportsmed.com.au.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan Electrical. Save big when you upgrade the heart of your home with store-wide savings on big brand kitchen appliances. Like Fisher & Paykel's Kitchen Cashback. 15% cashback on kitchen appliances and 5-year warranty on selected products. Get Adelaide's best prices on ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges with our price match guarantee. 1 week only. Spartan Electrical's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, zip and afterpay available. Shop local, shop Spartan, Campbelltown and Torrensville. Ends Monday.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
She talks kind of lazy and people say she's crazy and her life's a mess.
22 minutes after 7. We've been giving away tickets for a couple of weeks now to this terrific show. Last night at the Proms. We're joined now by Adelaide Symphony Orchestra conductor Guy Noble. Guy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, in your words, we've been talking about it in our words and hyping what sounds like a fantastic program, but as the man that's responsible for pulling it all together, what's the pitch for the people of Adelaide?
The pitch is, well, it's the famous thing they do in London, the Royal Albert Hall, which happens at the end of this big music festival, and it's a big tradition there. It's a lot of English music at the end. You get your Land of Hope and Glories, you get your Jerusalem, and basically you get a chance to sing along, wave flags, and pretend that you're a little bit of England in the middle of Adelaide. And then you will go home and realise you're really happy to be living in Australia. So that's about it.
So, Guy, is the atmosphere the same? Because I can remember my late grandma, she loved watching the Proms when it was on TV. I can remember as a kid in the 70s sitting on the old Chesterfield couch at Granny and Grandpa's place watching it. Do people here get into it to the same extent as they do in England? Like, do the crowd jump around and that?
Well, sometimes they do, yeah. Sometimes we have dress-ups and all sorts of stuff. And it's meant to be fun, and I try and inject a bit of humour. And, we have messages from the Queen, perhaps, and, as if, we've sent her an invitation and she couldn't arrive. What a surprise. But, yes, I'm so sorry. I'm not able to travel at the moment.
That is a very good Queen.
Well, it's actually it's normally better, but it's a bit early in the morning. I need my voice to warm up. But no, it's I think it's that sort of interactive fun. Because when would you get a chance to sing along with the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra without being told to shut up by the person sitting next to you? So
exactly.
It is meant to be a sort of a joyous, fun experience. And I'm for any concert, I always hope the audience goes out feeling better than they came in. That's our job. And if that happens, and it usually does, then people have had a great time.
Just finally, Guy, we just heard about the great box office success for the Adelaide Fringe. Are you guys detecting a bit of a sort of post-pandemic, sort of almost jazz era, the way the jazz era followed on from the Spanish flu in the 1920s? Is there a huge appetite for people to get out and enjoy live music again?
I think there is. I'm in Sydney, so I can't actually speak about it. Of course, the mood in Adelaide during the Fringe is fantastic. But I know even here in Sydney, post-pandemic, the people are out and about and having the best time now. It's like the masks are gone now, and people are starting to have a better time. And it's taken, because we're all human beings, we've been frightened into submission for 2 years. And it takes a while for us to get out of that mood and to be comfortable coming back into a big venue. But we should be comfortable now. We're all vaccinated and everyone's doing well. And then there's that joy of, coming back with a live orchestra and being with other human beings, which is what it's all about. So, yeah, I think it's on its way.
Well, great to have you in town, Guy. The shows are on the Friday the 1st of April, Saturday 2nd of April at the Adelaide Festival Theatre, and you can get tickets at the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra website.
Just got a text from Mum. She says, I love Guy. We'll be there. There you go. Mum,
he'll be delighted to hear that.
Yep.
We got tickets. We got a double pass to give away, and if you want to head along, having heard Guy just spruik the show, well, guess what? You can. First caller through 8223 0055 right now, and we'll give away those tickets. Let's talk sport. Big weekend. Footy's back. Round 1 action. Heartbreak for the Crows. Some concern injury-wise for Port Adelaide. Rowie was watching it all. Book your service online at North Point Toto to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. Morning to you, Rowie.
Pembo and Will, yeah, it was a great round. We didn't break the attendance record, but we did for totals of 50-metre penalties. But that aside, there was some great footy. I'll start with Port. They played first. They were up by 24 points late in that third quarter. Then the Lions had the next 10 scores to kick 5 goals to 1. They won by 11 points. Now, it's a bit of a worry for Port when Tides get momentum. It's something they're going to need to get on top of in the midfield. Mackenzie's knee and Dersma's collarbone are going to be 2 big outs. Look, they've got Hawks at home Saturday. They'll lick their wounds. It's only round 1, but, geez, they would have liked to have won that game. For mine, that was the highest quality and hardest game for the first round, I reckon. Gee, it was a cracking game, wasn't it?
It was a terrific game. And look, Port people beforehand made the point that they struggled to win in Brisbane, and they thought Brisbane would probably be a 4-goal better side on the day. It's just funny that first half raised expectations, and now the concern is like that Aaliyah injury sounds potentially concerning. He's absolutely pivotal.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. They were very unlucky. We'll get to the Crows. They lost by a point in an absolute heart-stopper. They had the last say on that game. They were coming. Another 30 seconds, they probably would have won. They had 20 clanger kicks to half-time. Will, you called the game with me and Bix. They couldn't have played any worse, but you just felt they were in it. If they could just get it together, well, they did, with 6 goals to none in the third quarter, and that was the story of the day. But I've got a new good boy, Will.
You do?
I haven't. Look, I can't spell his surname, but let's have a listen to his first goal.
Balls lately to Rochelle. He'll kick it. He'll kick it. He'll kick it. Get around him. Little Josh Rochelle. He can smell it. He can sniff it. He can hunt it. He loves it. On debut. Good boy.
Good boy.
Now, that's not the moment. There was another goal he kicked over the course of the game, Rowie, that I got an instant text from David afterwards, and he says, we have to play that bit of audio, and here it is.
You can't spell his name. You sure will soon. Rochelle.
Just the one
I think it's just the one L.
Mate, I was in the car. I was driving to Mum and Dad's to pick the kids up because I'd been flat out writing articles for the paper about the election. I almost drove my car off the road. I was laughing so much at that. That's just the absolute high point of Stephen Rowe's commentary career.
But of course I got his spelling wrong. But honestly, all jokes aside, 13 kicks, 1 handball, 3 tackles, 40 pressure acts, to kick 5 goals on debut, that is a special talent. I'm told he's a lovely lad, like down to earth. This won't go to his head. He'll just keep getting better and better. The minute he stepped foot in that camp with Saligo, they've been absolute diamonds. What a debut. He just missed out on a W. If only just on the goal line. Key's kick goes, 1 foot further,
Yeah.
or that defender Chapman doesn't spoil it in, he spoils it through. It's at minimum, it's a draw. I cannot believe how that game finished.
It was remarkable. Looking forward to the sports show tonight. Lots to get through with Stephen Rowe. Book your service online. North Point Toyota to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. Good on you, Rowie.
Reckon my Ben Keys tip for the Brownlows looking all right after round one.
Yeah, I don't know. He might have got pipped by that spoil on the line from the 3 votes.
Yeah, probably.
29 minutes after 7. He almost got there. I tell you what, there was no doubt about the result on Saturday night, though. Peter Malinauskas will, in just a few hours' time, be sworn in as the 47th Premier of South Australia. Before he does that, he's going to be with us in the 5AA Breakfast studio right after this.
Every day, they tell you their news is local. And every day, they bring you news made in Sydney. Watch the news you can trust. Adelaide's 7 News, made right here. Mornings, afternoons, and 6 p.m. every night.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they are offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Now, did you get your hands on a great state experience voucher? Because you could explore our beautiful wineries with Bike Abouts, 3-day safari and wine e-cycling adventure on the Grapes for Good Trail.
Join Bike About and wind your way through the vineyards on an electric bike. How good does this sound? A bit of a tour by Treadley of the beautiful Langhorne Creek region. Wine and dine with some of SA's favourite drops, and here they are, including Bremerton Wines, Kimbolton, Vineyard Road Winehouse, Bleasdale Winery, home of the excellent Malbec, and the people who make Bonita, Lake Breeze.
You'll also experience the plains of Monado Safari Park exclusively, including sunrise breakfast with the giraffes and the thrilling 360-degree line experience. 2 nights accommodation are included. Just come and enjoy the wine and the wildlife.
That's right. Collect your grapes for good wines along the trail. Every drop supports the great people at Zoos SA with their conservation efforts. Proof that wine can be a force for good.
Head to bikeabout.com.au for more. Visit southaustralia.com.au/voucher and search Bike About to book using your Great State Experience voucher by March 31st.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny, 27 today. With the 7:30 news, I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
Peter Malinauskas will be officially sworn in as the state's new Premier today. It follows Labor's demolition of the Liberals in Saturday's election. His deputy Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will also be made official today, with the rest of the Malinauskas ministry to follow in the coming days. Going over the state's remaining COVID restrictions is top of the Premier-elect's agenda. He'll meet with Grant Stevens and Nicola Spurrier. Work will also begin on making one of his election promises to motorsport fans a reality, the return of the Adelaide 500.
Look, I'm actually very excited about this. It's the first time I've actually thought about the Adelaide 500 since the whirlwind. Look, that's coming back in the first weekend of December this year.
And the supercars have confirmed they're now working on making that happen. Stephen Marshall released a statement yesterday saying he is stepping down as Liberal Party leader after 9 years in the job, 4 of those as Premier. His seat of Dunstan is also in serious doubt, with the result to come down to postal and pre-poll votes. Counting of those starts today. Police are investigating a suspicious fire in Adelaide overnight. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says an abandoned building at the corner of Wright and Crompton Streets went up in flames just before 1 a.m.
In about an hour, crews got that fire under control, but the building was extensively damaged. Police believe that the fire may have been deliberately lit, so we're just asking anybody with any information about the fire to contact Crime Stoppers.
The Ukrainian president may address federal parliament via video link, potentially as early as next week. Volodymyr Zelensky has been praised for the way he's led his country during the Russian invasion. Australia is providing extra military and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says practical support is the focus at the moment.
They're the things that the President and the Prime Minister asked for me to do, and very pleased to be able to do it and keep encouraging them, and would welcome any opportunity for him to speak to the Australian people.
3 senior Labor figures accused of being mean girls will attend the funeral of their colleague Kimberley Kitching today. Lucy Gray has the details.
Opposition Senators Penny Wong, Christina Keneally and Katie Gallagher will join Labor leader Anthony Albanese in farewelling their colleague at St Patrick's Cathedral in Melbourne today. Kimberley Kitching died from a heart attack earlier this month, with workplace-related stress believed to have contributed to her sudden death. Since then, the female trio have denied accusations they bullied and harassed Senator Kitching during her time in federal parliament. Finance Minister Simon Birmingham will represent the government at the funeral.
And at least 6 people are dead after a car crashed into a folklore parade in Belgium. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. A Heath Chapman miracle moment on the goal line has seen Fremantle pull off the big steal, beating Adelaide in a 1-point thriller. Coach Justin Longmuir admits it was a lucky escape.
Yeah, we were lucky to get the 4 points, but I thought we showed that our best footy is strong.
2 games to wrap up round 1 yesterday, with Gold Coast recording its first ever win against West Coast in the West with a 27-point win, while Hawthorn came from behind to beat North Melbourne by 20 points. To motorsport now, Charles Leclerc has won the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Carlos Sainz in second, while Lewis Hamilton was third. Defending champion Max Verstappen failed to finish, while Daniel Ricciardo finished back in 14th place. Miguel Oliveira has won the Indonesian MotoGP in a wet race, which caused plenty of problems for riders.
Through the final corner, then comes Oliveira. Miguel is the man in Mandalika. A famous win here for KTM in our first Indonesian Grand Prix in a quarter of a century.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Aussie Jack Miller finished 4th. And former Supercars champion Scott McLaughlin has been pipped at the post by his teammate at the IndyCars race in Texas. He finished second, backing up his win at the season opening race in Florida. And in some soccer, Adelaide United's played out a 0-0 draw against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Liverpool has advanced to the semi-finals of the FA Cup meantime, following a 1-0 win against Nottingham Forest. They'll now take on Manchester City after City defeated Southampton 4-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
At O'Halloran Hill, smash on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. That's inbound and causing solid delays at the moment. Myland works on Henley Beach Road near South Road continue. 1 lane out and speeds at 40. Busy at the moment, South Road near Anzac Highway. And cameras this morning, Anzac Highway, Ashford, O'Sullivan Beach Road, Morford Vale, and Tapless Hill Road, Acklenelg North. If you're driving today and there's someone or something that needs your attention and it can't wait, pull over, because no one is driving if you're distracted. Think road safety. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
A top of 27 for your Monday and mostly sunny. A shower or 2 tomorrow, 26. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 23. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Walko, Blanky! Walko, Blanky! Walko, Blanky! This is a game Pool and I play. Each night I come out and put her Walko blankie on. Keeps her from evaporating. But winter is coming. Soon she'll need her Walko Guardian pool cover. Sure, the fun ends, but I know she's looked after. Chemicals sealed off from the light, water clean, and no need for your pump. Get your pool a Walko Guardian pool cover for winter. Walko.com.au.
I don't really like talking on radio, but I do like talking about our cows at the FIVEaa Milk Company. And I love helping support SA dairy farmers. They're a great bunch with beautiful families. They work day and night to produce the best milk in SA. So when you're in the supermarket, look for FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. I'm getting good at this.
FIVEaa Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FIVEaamilkco.com.au.
Have you ever wondered if retirement living would suit you? Come along to an FIVEaa open home and enjoy a sneak peek of the life you could lead. These free events are from the 29th to the 31st of March at 15 FIVEaa communities across Adelaide. You can explore the communities, walk through display homes and chat with our friendly team. Attendees must be vaccinated and all events will operate with a COVID-safe plan. Take the first step. and search Aveo Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up before 8 o'clock. A little bit after 8 o'clock today, our next guest is going to be sworn in as the 47th Premier of South Australia. Peter Malinauskas live in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Congratulations.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Dave. Does it feel real? I can remember talking to you about 4 weeks ago, and I contacted the former Premier's office with a degree of trepidation, because you should never gloat about people who are in a pickle. But when I told you about those news poll figures 4 weeks ago, you said, not interested, not interested. When they came out again last week, you called a hookup of all of your MPs and said, no one's going to start getting up themselves and walking around going, we've got this in the bag. Well, the result is just a staggering landslide now. Does it feel real?
Look, I'm certainly taken aback by the size of the result. I was saying to Will just off air then that I always believed we could win, but I never took it to the bank that we were going to win. There was a moment on Saturday afternoon when I was handing out how to votes at the Prospect booth in the seat of Adelaide. I thought that does feel good, and that gave me a bit of hope and a bit of confidence. But I never took it to the bank. And how many times have you seen? You've been covering politics for a while, Dave. How many times have you seen political campaigns take the foot off the pedal? People start to look like they're assumed a result, and it goes pear-shaped on them. You can't do that. No different to on a footy field. If you think you're up, you've got to keep playing to win. You've always got to keep campaigning hard. And we had that determination and that resolve. And I pride my team on our discipline, and we were keen on it. But look, in terms of does it feel real, it's certainly taken us back by the size of the result. But ever since the result became clear, I mean, even on Saturday night when after the election speech and the event, I went home straight away, got my chief of staff, my deputy chief of staff, and my key communications person, and we just started making sure that our transition plan was in check, getting everything rolled out. And since then, it's just been a non-stop whirlwind. Focusing on the task at hand. So it hasn't, on one level, it's just been so busy, I haven't had time to really reflect on it. But naturally, I'm excited. Yeah.
Have you got a sense of where the numbers might ultimately fall right now? If we give you the seats that you're ahead in, you get to 28. Now, for people's reference at home, 24 was needed for majority government. And when we were trying to read the polls, we were thinking, well, the polls will suggest you might get there. You've blown past that already. You've been awarded 26. Do you think you'll get to 28?
Well, 26 would have been a number that I would have hoped for in my wildest dreams. So to be there is, it is quite humbling. That is a sign of a result where people are genuinely investing their confidence in you, and that is humbling. 28 seems like that does seem surreal. The idea that we would pick up Stephen Marshall's seat in Dunstan, and then the seat of Waite, which I don't even know if Labor's ever held before. If we did, it was a long time ago. That we're not going to count our chickens on that. Let's wait and see how the cards fall there. That feels a bit unrealistic, but it is what it is, and we'll see how the numbers fall.
So to the job at hand, what's your first priority? Interesting splash in the Tizer today where you've spoken to Paul Starrick and identified the discrepancy between our COVID arrangements here, re-masks, and particularly the close contact rules that are really hurting business at the moment. You're talking to the Commissioner and to the Chief Medical Officer today?
Yep, this afternoon. So I get sworn in at 10 o'clock and then we get to work straight away. Look, as your listeners would know, and you gents certainly well know, I've provided bipartisan support throughout the entirety of the pandemic for the restrictions and following the health advice. That doesn't change. And I certainly hope that the new leader of the Liberal Party adopts the same approach in respect to COVID. That'll be up to them, of course. But as Premier, I think I've got a duty, a responsibility to scrutinise the decisions that are being made because they are having an impact on our state. We're out of kilter with the rest of the nation, and there may be a very good reason for that. But if there is, the South Australian public need to know what that is. And I don't know if there is that level of clarity to the extent that is required. We do pay a price when we are nationally inconsistent. And I just want to make sure that if we are going to have that approach, that price is worth paying. And my job is to scrutinise it, and I will be doing that very deliberately.
Is the reason potentially the very thing that you campaigned on? Their health system's just not in a position to be able to withstand.
Well, that was always the reason that I figured to be true from opposition. But now I'm in government, which means I get access to more information than I did as opposition. I can ask more direct questions of public officials from the position of Premier, and I'm going to be asking those questions. And if the reason why we've got tougher restrictions than the rest of the country is because our health system is so overwhelmed, then I'm going to be honest with people of the state about it. See, think about it from the former government's perspective. They could hardly come out and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, South Australia, you have to put up with more restrictions because the health system is stuffed." You know, Stephen Marshall couldn't do that because then you would be saying, "Well, you had 2 years to prepare. Why didn't you do it?" I'm in a position now where I can ask those questions, seek the honest answers, and then explain to people of the state why.
So you were asking that question too about mask use, presumably, because we've got inconsistencies with what's happening interstate too?
Yes, but I think the big one, look, mask wearing is inconvenient, right? But you can still live your life. I mean, I hate wearing masks as much as the next person. But if wearing masks is saving lives, then so be it. But it's the close contact rules that we have to closely examine.
Your campaign, Peter Malinowskis, had a lot of different elements to it, but overridingly the message on a daily basis was ramping.
Yes.
How long is it going to take you to fix it?
Well, I got asked that question during the campaign, and my answer hasn't changed since then. It's going to take us 4 years. Now, we want to get to work as quickly as possible. We want to see improvement occur as quickly as possible, but my commitment remains the same, that by the end of our first term, we will see a substantial reduction in ambulance ramping to the extent that we want to see ambulances roll up on time. So, and I said this to the campaign, I probably said it even in this very chair, you know, no politician should say we're going to eliminate ramping. And the former Premier did that, and it was at his, well, more or less, and that was at their peril. So I'm being honest with people. You know, what we've got to do is reduce ambulance ramping so that it doesn't prevent the ambulance rolling up on time. And that's our objective.
Dare I say it, you'll probably be helped along to that end by the ambulance union not putting out a tweet.
Well, I don't know.
Every time somebody gets ramped.
Well, I don't know, because these stories get told. I mean, I contend that if you go out to a suburban shopping centre and spend some time talking to random punters, you're not going to have to go too far before you find someone who's got a lived experience of ramping or the ambulance not rolling up on time. I mean, even this morning, just trying to find the details on my phone. Even this morning, our EDs have been completely overwhelmed. So this problem isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So this morning there are 117 ED patients waiting for a bed. 117. 18 patients have been waiting for over 24 hours. And those numbers, when you see them in the morning, that means you've got a bad afternoon and evening of ramping ahead. So this is omnipresent, and we have to address it.
Can I ask a really broad and weird question? How do you make sure that Labor doesn't become rubbish again? Because in the last 2 years of the Labor Party, we were running the energy of the Labor government. We were running our energy system with backup diesel generators. Transforming health. Looked very much like it was necessitated by poor economic management. We had multiple hospital downgrades. We had the repat closure, which you've now said was a mistake. We had a child protection scandal, separate inquiries into child protection. We had Oakden. That was a government that really was falling apart at the seams, I think, by the end of 2018.
Yeah, well, this is now my government, Dave. And look, when you're the Premier and you run a state government, things go wrong, right? Of course, events will occur over the course of any government, and the question is how you respond to them. Just think about what state government does for a moment, right? Basically, what state governments do is everything that the private sector can't. That is because it's too risky. Police, ambulances, public hospitals. I mean, the reason why private hospitals don't do brain surgery, don't do heart transplants and the like, the reason why private hospitals do that is because the risk is too high. Department for Child Protection, everything that the private sector can't do becomes a responsibility of state government, which means we are doing the riskiest things in the nation. There's nothing riskier than what state government has to do. And inevitably things go wrong. But you know what the public expect of a government? Most punters understand things happen. It's how you respond to them. That's what matters, right? And that's what you get judged by. And that's what I'll be working hard to do the right thing in when that happens.
How quickly can you undertake a review into the Renewal SA decision about the Crows headquarters potentially being at Brompton, the gasworks site?
Well, I'm getting my team are getting sworn in this. I'm getting sworn in this afternoon. The rest of my team are getting sworn in later in this week, and we will honour our policy commitment. And our policy is to release publicly the criteria and the weighting of that criteria that was applied to that decision, and then review it. And if we don't think that criteria was weighted accordingly, we'll change it, and then we'll assess the applicants against it. And that may well mean change, and that may well result in the Crows moving to the gasworks site, but we will go through the appropriate process.
You get asked some tough questions in a campaign. Did you get any tougher than after your speech on Saturday night from your wife?
I am kicking myself about this one.
You had one job.
I know.
You had one job.
It was literally like that. You've got no idea.
Oh, no. I think every bloke has some idea.
Do you know, so that the saving grace for me is that, and you've met Annabelle, Dave, so Annabelle doesn't rush to the limelight. That is not her thing, right? So the problem is this. Now I'm getting asked this question, and we're talking about my amazing wife, which she doesn't actually want. So on Saturday night when the result was coming through, I decided I was going to make a couple of quick changes to my speech.
Right.
And I got her to help me because she's a far faster typer than me, and so she had seen my speech, and obviously I had on there, thanking various people, including Annabelle and the kids. And she turned to me and she said, "Now, look, don't get all emotional and mushy, right? Because I've got a bit of a record of doing that."
Right.
And so in the speech on the night, I thanked Mum and Dad, and I could feel the old, lump in the throat. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll skip to the next part and I'll come back to Belle and the kids. Except I didn't. And I am kicking myself. I'm absolutely kicking myself because, naturally, she and the children are the most important thing in the world to me. And I could not be doing this. Like at the moment, what time is it? 7:50, right? So at home, there's organised chaos unfolding as we speak. And Annabelle's been doing the overwhelming bulk of that, particularly over the last 3 or 4 months. So I can't thank her enough, and I love her to death.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a historic victory, Peter Malinauskas, Premier-elect, Premier in 2 hours and 10 minutes time, being sworn in at Government House, and sincerely, all the very best of luck governing on behalf of the people of South Australia.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Cheers.
All right, let's check traffic. The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show on at Her Majesty's Theatre Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Thanks, Will. O'Halloran Hill, 3-car smash on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. That's inbound and causing solid delays. Myland works on Henley Beach Road near South Road, 1 lane out and speeds at 40. And Darlington works on the Flagstaff Road upgrade, continue near the South Road intersection. Busy this morning, South Road near Anzac Highway, with cameras Sheriff's Road, Morford Vale, Tapley's Hill Road at Fulham. Delicious 100% clean Mexican food. Enjoy Guzmani Gomez burrito or bowl for only $9.90. Yes, just $9.90 when you order through the GYG app. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
If you're planning an event, whether it's a small meeting with the latest in reliable technology or a large gala dinner full of glitz and glamour, you'll experience event excellence on every level at the Adelaide Convention Centre. Excellence in understanding your needs and delivering them to exacting standards is what we do. And we don't just aim for excellence, we go beyond. So for your next excellent event, the team is ready and waiting at the Adelaide Convention Centre, the centre of event excellence.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We've been helping Adelaide buyers and sellers for almost 40 years. That's why so many South Australians look to us for real estate advice. Right now, we're working with 4,904 buyers in Toorak Gardens, 4,651 in Wayville, and 4,938 buyers in McGill, all searching for their perfect property in these specific locations. If you're thinking of selling and would like to know how many buyers we're working with in your suburb, go to toop.com.au.
Now, apart from buying a home, getting an in-ground pool is one of the bigger investments you will make. So just like buying a home, do your research like we did. Make sure you're dealing with a reputable pool company, one that does things by the book and consistently wins awards. So, answering all those questions, the answer had to be Rainwise. It was an absolute pleasure to deal with them. And if you want to get in now, get in quick, because you've got to get your name on the board to get one by summer later this year. We settled on Rainwise pools because they were a clear standout, especially with over 15 years in the business.
The other huge bonus is that Rainwise pools, they take care of everything for you, including council approval, landscaping, pool fencing. You don't have to worry about a thing except bringing your towel.
That's right. And we also love the fact that Rainwise pools are a family business, a South Australian family business. So they're really driven by family values.
If you're thinking of a pool, just be aware that 2022 spots are filling fast at Rainwise Pools. So don't wait. Get in touch now. Visit rainwisepoolsadelaide.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 to 8, 16.1 outside. Cool start to the day. It's going to get to 27, so it'll be nice. The interesting stuff's tomorrow. Top of 26, potentially up to 3 mils of rain. But we've had a chat with the Bureau, and what they're telling us is that it might be on the low end of that 0 to 3 range. So more a sprinkle than a true shower. It means there is a cool change coming for Wednesday, top of just 23. It'll get to 13 overnight as a minimum on Thursday morning and 23, down to 12 and 23 on Friday. Saturday will get up to 25, warms up for the weekend, albeit not hot, 25 on Sunday as well. It's time for Don Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
The office of the member for Dunstan and leader of the South Australian Liberal Party for the time being, the Honourable Stephen Marshall.
Yes, Julian.
Morning, Stevie boy, you little slapper. Would you like a cup of tea?
What?
I'll bring it in for you, Steve.
Yeah, okay.
So, our marketing team was really on form on Saturday night?
What do you mean?
Well, by making sure you did your concession speech in front of a bunch of smoking, drinking yobbos with strangely coloured hair.
Oh, yeah, well...
And all the way through your speech, one of them was flipping you the middle finger.
Yes, I know.
Along with the rest of the state. Now...
Oh, listen.
Actually, it was quite appropriate, bearing in mind one of your promises was to build an enclosure for a bunch of animals.
Yeah, okay. Listen, what have I got on today?
Well, at 10 o'clock this morning, you have nothing, followed by bugger all, and then lunch.
Oh, I'd forgotten how great being in opposition is.
Yes, and we have to do absolutely nothing just for a short time while everybody treats Malinauskas like he's John F. Kennedy, right up until the media and the people turn on him and decide they hate his guts and he may as well be Charles Manson.
Yeah, how long will that be?
Oh, a month or two at the most.
Wow.
It happened to you almost straight away.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
No, but it seems like it.
Oh.
Anyway, you're not going to keep doing this, are you?
Doing what?
Well, you know, being the leader of a political party that doesn't have a future in the near future.
Oh, well...
It's very undignified.
I think you're right. People just end up not respecting you anymore.
That's right, Stevie boy. You're a quick learner, aren't you, you little swat?
Actually, it may not be a good idea to stay on.
No, that's what I was thinking.
In fact, let's not stay on.
No, all right.
Do me a favour. Start thinking up some strategies for getting me the f*** out of here.
You got it, little Stevie.
We might talk about that in our election wrap after 8 o'clock today. There's a wistful saying, though, in politics that the worst day in government is still better than the best day in opposition.
Absolutely.
That's what they're staring down at the
I reckon
moment.
he's got every right to say what he said too, leaving that function on Saturday.
Totally.
A totally normal human reaction.
Yeah.
I would have
What do you
said
expect?
exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And and look, the statement...
His speech was terrific, by the way.
His speech was superb. It was gracious. And I thought even more gracious was the utterly sort of humble... and manful acknowledgement yesterday, and I don't even think it's true, but he said, I take full responsibility for this. I don't think he should take full responsibility for it. I think there's a whole bunch of people are responsible for this disastrous result for the Libs. He's part of it, but it was just utterly humble by Stephen Marshall.
All right, time for our weekend real estate wrap. Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toops on the line. Bronte, were people still out and about despite their having to go out and vote and do all that kind of stuff on the weekend?
They were, guys. Ironically, and I genuinely mean this, we actually saw more people on the weekend than we normally do. So we saw 983 groups out and about, and we're normally seeing around the 700. So
wow.
Those sausage sizzles and the voting booths obviously got people out and about and got them involved in property. And we sold 6 of 6, so we had a 100% success rate under the hammer, which was just shy of 8.2 million in real estate. So normally an election, we don't love it, but this year, basically we sailed straight through. People didn't mention anything about it, and then the weekend of the election, we had a belter.
That's good to hear, mate. Were there any standout sales?
Yeah, so the property at 359 Glenburn Road in Kensington Park, and Glenburn Road, it's one of those. It's not it does carry a little bit more traffic. So that property went under the hammer, and that sold for 2.56 million. So if you were to look the property up and look at comparables, you'd realise that's an absolutely cracking result.
Good stuff.
Good on you, Bronte.
Thanks,
Bronte Emanuel from Toop and Toop with our weekend real estate wrap. 5AA News on the way. And in just a moment, our last state election wrap. We'll recap what's happened overnight and counting yesterday.
You have just 3 days until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Next week, you could be collecting the keys to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Somerton Park with $500,000 to spend on whatever you want. Just imagine living mortgage-free in beachside luxury. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au.
Licence M141133.
This is Shane. Shane loves his beer fridge. Nothing beats a chilled home brew. But Shane has a problem. He gets the gilts having it on all day. Well, Shane, save your gilts for serving subpar beer to your mates, because NRG Solar gives you electricity guilt-free. Just guilt-free cold ales all day long.
Electricity guilt-free with NRG.
Stick to pouring coldies, Shane. NRGsolar.com.au.
Now, what's better than 1 hour of free parking at the Adelaide Central Market every Tuesday, Will?
Being the kind of guy that if I had 3 wishes, I'd wish for 1,000 more wishes. I'd say 2 hours of free parking.
What's better than 8-minute abs?
7 minutes.
6-minute abs.
Well, you can't do abs in 6 minutes. I've always said that.
Step into my office. Now, look, get into the Central Market, because all you have to do is get to the market before 9 a.m, spend $30 in the market on Tuesdays, and you will get 2 hours. That's not one. It's double, in fact. Double of one is 2. 2 hours of free parking.
You'll get twice as many hours. $30 too. You do that before you even get to the shopping page. Go to Lucia's for breakfast. Bang, $30, free parking. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Get in before 9 a.m, get that breakfast, and get some Super Tuesday trader specials like coffee. What? It's like
coffee and an omelette.
Yeah,
you should do that.
Combined. Yeah.
Omelette.
No, you don't want that. Coffee and omelette brekkie for $12. 3 chickens for $10 at O'Connell's, a dozen freshly shucked oysters, only $15.99 from Angelakis, 2 Fluorio milk yogurts for $5, 2 for 1 on Lucia's minestrone soup, plus heaps of great deals on local fruit and veg.
All that and 2 hours free parking before 11 a.m. How good's that? Get into the market Tuesday, big market day.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny 27 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
Peter Malinauskas will be sworn in as the state's 47th Premier at 10 o'clock this morning. His deputy Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will also be sworn in. The remainder of the new Labor front bench will be finalised over the next few days. This afternoon he'll meet with Police Commissioner Grant Stevens and Professor Nicola Spurrier. He's told David and Will he wants to go over SA's COVID restrictions.
As Premier, I think I've got a duty, a responsibility to scrutinise the decisions that are being made, because they are having an impact on our state. We are out of kilter with the rest of the nation, and there may be a very good reason for that. But if there is, the South Australian public need to know what that is, and I don't know if there is that level of clarity to the extent that is required.
Stephen Marshall is stepping down as Liberal Party leader after Labor's landslide victory. He says that will happen as soon as the party room can elect his successor. And Marshall's fate in the seat of Dunstan may become clearer today, with the counting of postal and pre-poll votes getting underway. The Prime Minister concedes high petrol prices are hurting at the moment. There's a growing push to temporarily slash the fuel excise to relieve pressure at the pump. The issue may be addressed in next Tuesday's budget. Scott Morrison won't be drawn on specific measures, but hinted it could be on the cards.
We're very conscious of the cost of living impacts, particularly caused by the war in Europe, which has obviously driven up petrol prices very significantly, and we know that people are feeling that. It won't go forever, those spikes in petrol prices, but we know they're having a real impact on people right now.
The old hotel right in the city has been gutted by fire overnight. The abandoned building went up in flames just before 1 a.m. Police believe it was deliberately lit. Fire Corps investigators will be attending the scene this morning. A 15-year-old boy has been arrested after a pursuit through the southern suburbs. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says he was driving a stolen white Honda.
About 15 minutes later, the car came to a stop on Collins Parade in Hackham, and it was quickly surrounded by patrols on the ground who arrested the driver and sole occupant, who actually turned out to be a 15-year-old. He's been charged with illegal use of motor vehicle, speeding and driving unlicensed, never held. He'll appear in the Christie's Beach Youth Court at a later date.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is comparing Russia's invasion to the acts of Nazi Germany in the Second World War. Officials in the city of Mariupol claim thousands of people are being forcibly deported to remote regions in Russia. Mr. Zelensky, who is Jewish, says Moscow aims to destroy their nation and culture.
Every Jewish person knows those words. We want to live. Our neighbours want to see us dead, and they don't give us much room for compromise.
And there's a chance the Ukrainian president could soon address the Australian Parliament via video link. Australia has increased its military and humanitarian support to the war-ravaged country. We're also sending 70,000 tonnes of thermal coal to prop up Ukraine's energy needs. And Shane Warne has been laid to rest in Melbourne. Family, friends and former teammates gathered for yesterday's private funeral at the St Kilda Football Club. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty. 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. A stunning spoil on the goal line has denied the Crows a chance to draw the opening match of the season against Fremantle. The Crows trailed by a point with about 10 seconds to play when Ben Keys had a shot on the run which was spoiled on the line by Dockers defender Heath Chapman.
Fogarty to Keys! Keys! Get through! Keys! Oh no! Oh my God, it got stopped on the goal line. It would have been a draw. Oh my God! Here go Freo! Oh my God, no! It didn't just happen.
What a play in the back pocket!
I think Roy is still coming to terms with that one. The Crows will monitor the fitness of defender Andrew McPherson, who was subbed out with a hamstring injury. While across at Alberton, there are major injury concerns for Alia, who may require ankle surgery, while Trent McKenzie has a knee injury and Xavier Dersma has a suspected cracked collarbone. To cricket, Josh Hazlewood will once again miss out on Australia's test lineup for the third match against Pakistan. The Aussies will take an unchanged lineup for the third test, which begins in Lahore this afternoon. Meantime, in the second test in Bridgetown, the West Indies are trying desperately to hold on for a draw against England. They're currently 5 for 127 in the final session, still needing 154 runs to win, while England needs 5 wickets. To motorsport, and Ferrari's made a dream start to the Formula One season after a 1-2 finish, with Charles Leclerc winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 14th. To soccer, and Adelaide United's played out a 0-0 draw against the Western Sydney Wanderers in the A-League. Meantime, Liverpool will meet Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final after both recorded wins this morning. Chelsea will meet Crystal Palace in the other semi, while in the English Premier League, Tottenham's got over West Ham 3-1, while Leicester beat Brentford 2-1. And in some tennis to finish, Poland's Iga Świątek is the Indian Wells Masters champion. That's after a straight sets demolition against Maria Sakkari. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now checking FIVEaa traffic.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
At North Haven, look out for a smash on Victoria Road near Osborne Road. O'Halloran Hill, 3-car collision there. It's on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. That's inbound and causing solid delays. Mile Lane works continuing on Henley Beach Road near South Road. 1 lane out of action, speeds at 40. Busy this morning, South Road near Anzac Highway with cameras main South Road, O'Halloran Laurel Hill and Sheriff's Road at Moffat Vale. At Burbank Homes, you choose the offer: solar savings, free upgrades or cashback bonus. Only $1,000 deposit gets you started. T's and C's apply. Burbank.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Mostly sunny, 27 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 26 and 23 on Wednesday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan Electrical. Save big when you upgrade the heart of your home with store-wide savings on big brand kitchen appliances. Like up to $500 off selected Miele cooking appliances and up to $400 off Miele laundry packages. Get Adelaide's best prices on ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges with our price match guarantee. 1 week only. Spartan Electrical's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, zip and afterpay available. Shop local, shop Spartan, Campbelltown and Torrensville. Ends Monday.
It's been 4 years.
Look, a few moments ago, I called Stephen Marshall and conceded that he'd won this state election.
Jay rang to offer his congratulations.
And a lot has happened. We've had a change in Prime Ministers.
I want to thank the Australian people for the support they've given me and my government.
There's been bushfires.
The state is in the grip of a bushfire emergency. Several fires are burning out of control, the most serious in the Adelaide Hills on the city's doorstep.
We've lost some icons along the way.
Adelaide's last drive-in cinema will close early next year.
Tomorrow will mark the end of an era for South Australia as the last keg rolls off the line at the West End Brewery.
We've had promises made.
This is the site that we will be building the Riverbank Arena.
The government I lead will build 250 megawatt worth of new hydrogen electrolysers.
And of course, who could forget COVID?
We have no alternative but to impose some fairly heavy and immediate restrictions.
It looks as though she has had an exposure at the Woodville Pizza Bar, having picked up a pizza. If you are at Adelaide Oval and the ball comes towards you, my advice to you is to duck and just do not touch that ball.
But now you've decided, South Australia, we have a new Premier in Peter Malinauskas.
Politics is a tough business. But first and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the people of South Australia. It is not lost on me the significance of the privilege and the size of the responsibility that you've invested in me, in my team.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 after 8, it's our final election wrap. The election has been run and won. It's just a matter of the final results coming in now. But what we thought we'd do for you on this Monday morning, following our chat with Peter Malinauskas, who'll be sworn in as Premier at 10 o'clock today, is just take you through the results we know and what might still be left to be determined as counting resumes a little bit later this morning.
Now, folks, Anthony Green, step aside. This is going to be the most granular suburban town-specific account of how SA voted in the history of psephology. So we're going to start with the seat of Dunstan, obviously held by Stephen Marshall. We're talking there Beulah Park, College Park, Evandale, Firle, Hackney, Joslin, Kensington, Kensington Gardens, Kensington Park, Kent Town, Marden, Maylands, Norwood, Paynham, Royston Park, St Maurice, St Peters, Stepney, Trinity Gardens. Largely blue-chip Liberal parts of town. Stephen Marshall held the seat by 7.4%. The swing to Labor is 8%. So the ex-Premier is in real strife there. Then staggeringly...
If pre-polls and postals break the same way they did last time, relative to the votes cast on the day, he'll retain the seat.
Yeah. So he needs them to come home with a wet sail.
Yep.
The seat of Hammond. Now, this was a 16.9% Liberal seat held by Adrian Pederick. A big swing to Labor's Belinda Owens. Hammond covers Murray Bridge, Alexandrina, Mount Barker District, Mid-Murray Council, and the towns include Mannum, Strath, Langhorne Creek, Wellington and Callington. So Adrian Pederick has had the shock of his life. A man who is being touted as a potential future Liberal leader, well, he's going to have to hold his seat first. He probably will. John Gardner, the Education Minister in the Marshall government, he held the seat by 9.3%. The swing to Labor so far is 8.9%. We're talking here Athelston, Aldana, Highbury, Newton, Rostrevor, Taringi, Vista, Woodford, parts of McGill and Montacute. Steve Murray.
These are some of the places we're talking about are the most liberal of liberal seats.
I know. When you actually say the suburbs, you go, what?
It is staggering. We're sitting here talking about these sorts of places being effectively the most marginal of marginals, even if they're held on to.
One that we called here early, we thought that Davenport was in trouble. Matt Abraham was very bullish about it. Well, Steve Murray has lost the seat. We're talking here Aberfoyle Park, Bedford Park, Chandler's Hill, Darlington, Flagstaff Hill, O'Halloran Hill, Seacombe Heights, part of Happy Valley. So that's gone to the Labor Party. Richard Harvey in Newland, he was swept away. This is Banksia Park, Fairview Park, Hope Valley, Modbury, Ridgehaven, St Agnes, Tea Tree Gully, Yatla Vale, bits of Modbury North. David Basham in the seat of Finnis. This is an absolute boil-over. It looks like the Liberal MP down there is going to lose his seat to an independent, Lou Nicholson. We're talking here Back Valley, Clayton Bay, Currency Creek, Finnis, Goolwa, Hayborough, Highmarsh Island, Highmarsh Tiers, McCracken, Middleton, Malang, Mosquito Hill, Mount Compass, great golf course, Mount Jagged, Mount Observation, Nankita, Port Elliot, Pasties, Victor Harbour, parts of the Inman Valley. This is like gentleman farmer country.
Yeah. We had a lot of independents
out
on the crossbench in the previous parliament, but as a byproduct of Liberals that had been either kicked out or had resigned from the party. There's going to be a host of independents just elected in their own right this time.
You would think the Speaker, Vincent Tarzia, is going to hold on, although we're not so sure. The other person who is in real strife is David Pisoni. Now, just stop and listen to these parts of town in a seat that has swung aggressively towards the ALP. He's currently, David Pisoni, the Skills Minister in the Marshall government, he's currently marginally in front. The previous margin was 11.5%. 11.5%. Labor's Ryan Harrison has had an 11.2% swing. He's 0.3% behind in these parts of town. Netherby, Parkside, Unley Park, Urbray, Myrtlebank, Malvern, Kingswood, Kings Park, Hyde Park. Hyde Park has become a potential Labor stronghold. This is crazy.
He'll hold on, I think, Pisoni.
He will, but he's had the shock of his life. Elder, poor old Carolyn Power, but a terrific campaign by Labor's Nadia Clancy. We're talking here Clarence Gardens, Clarence Park, Clovelly Park, Colonel Light Gardens, Cumberland Park, Door Park, Melrose Park, My Home, Mitchell Park, Panorama, Pasadena, St Mary's, Tonsley and Westbourne Park have swung solidly behind the Labor Party. Dan Van Hulst Pelican in Stewart. He has lost to Jeff Brock on account of
his popularity.
Yeah, well, that's the word I was looking for. Port Pirie. I mean, he's a former mayor of Port Pirie, so that was a shambles from the start for the Libs. Deputy Premier, gone.
Yep.
Corey Wingard, gone. We're talking here Brighton, Dover Gardens, Hove, Marion, North Brighton, Oaklands Park, Seacombe Gardens, Sturt, Warradale.
Talk about a violent swing, 13.6% in Gibson.
And local issues are a huge factor there, yep. Hove Crossing, all of that. Josh Teague's in a bit of strife up in the hills. Aldgate, again, just listen to these suburbs. Aldgate, Bridgewater, Cherry Gardens, Heathfield, Kaipo, Meadows, Mylor, Stirling, Summertown, Uradla, Wollonga Hill.
I think he holds on there.
He does.
But he shouldn't be an
I
issue.
spoke to people in the Labor Party yesterday who'd never even heard of their candidate.
Yeah.
Rowan Voot. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
He looks like a real dude.
He's got a look. Striking look.
He's got a striking look. Rachel Sanderson, one of the first to fall. This is Adelaide, Collinswood, Fitzroy, Gilbert and Medindi Gardens, North Adelaide, Ovingham, Thorngate, Walkerville. Paula Luther, nuggety local member, but in a partially V8-fuelled catastrophe for her. Golden Grove, Gold Creek, Greenwith, Hillbank, One Tree Hill, Salisbury, all the various bits of Salisbury, swung aggressively.
She did incredibly well when you look at the swing there as 4.9%. And that was one of the places that was campaigning the hardest by Labor.
It was the second most marginal seat.
That's a victory any other day.
Yeah, she did extremely well to contain the swing to less than 5%. And finally, Waite. Who knows what's going to happen there? It's just four-way
I can
contest.
tell you what's not going to happen. It won't be a Liberal. It won't be Alex Hyde. It'll be Labor or an independent.
So we're talking here Belair, Bellevue Heights, Blackwood, Brownhill Creek, Clapham, Coromandel Valley, Craigburn Farm, Eden Hills, Glenelta, Hawthorne Dean, Lower Mitcham, Linton, Mitcham, Springfield. Springfield may have a Labor candidate. So there you go,
It's just
folks.
a matter of who comes into second place there and gets the preference flow. But it looks like it'll be either Labor or the independent Heather Holmes-Ross. If just to give you the overall picture in Parliament, if every seat went right now the direction of who's ahead, we just give it to them, right? So that gives Dunstan the ALP, but things like Flinders, Hammond, Hartley, Hyson, Morialta to the Libs. It would end up something like there would be Dunstan goes to Labor and Waite goes to Labor. They end up on 28 seats. There'd be independents in Finnis, and in fact, let's just give one independent to Finnis. That's 5, and then the Libs win Flinders, Hammond, Hartley, Hyson, Morialta, Unley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They end up on 14 seats. 14 seats.
One other little tidbit for you, breaking at 18. It sounds like the party at the Robin Hood Hotel was the most miserable occasion in the history of that otherwise excellent pub. I've been told apparently there was a physical fight between a female Liberal MP and another woman who ran against her in pre-selection. And
bit late for the Libs to show some fight.
But they had to be separated. Someone put it to me that it was actually like a really full-on forceful shove to the chest when the women were standing in a circle talking. I don't know if it's so serious that anyone's talking about assault charges. Someone said to me that it was, though. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that one.
Just in the upper house too, just to wrap that all the transpired. Obviously, half the house goes up each and every election. 8-year terms, 11 seats on offer. 4 will go to Labor, 4 to Liberal. That's locked away. 1 to the Greens. The last 2 look like, but this still has a lot of work to do, counting and preference wise, will be another Labor seat, and Pauline Hanson's One Nation will get a seat there as well. So it'll be 5-4. 1-1 this time round, but there is a complement of another 11 seats that were half terms.
Please explain.
All right. I just tried to. 19 minutes after 8. Time for traffic. The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV shows on at Her Majesty's Theatre Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
At North Haven, smash on Victoria Road near Osborne Road. O'Halloran Hill, residual delays from an earlier smash on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. Mile works on Henley Beach Road continue near South Road, and busy at the moment South Road near Anzac Highway. Camera Southern Expressway Lonsdale, West Beach Road, West Beach. Celebrate Easter with Baker's Delight Hot Cross Buns. Bake fresh by real bakers every morning. Drop by your local Baker's Delight to pick up a hot cross bun 6-pack today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
AFL is back for 2022. And 5AA is Adelaide's football leader. Catch every game, live, local and passionate, with South Australia's best call team. Stephen Rowe, Tim Ginniver, Mark Bickley, David Wilde, Will Goodings and Tom Wren.
That's a brilliant goal.
Adelaide's best local AFL coverage in 2022 is 5AA football.
Did you know that South Australia was the first place to legalise nude swimming? And more than just churches, Adelaide was originally known as the city of pubs and churches. True. And did you know that Automasters is one of Australia's fastest growing automotive service and repair groups, with over 75 branches across Queensland, South Australia and WA. So switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Don't just send it, ace it.
If your current job is driving you bonkers, well, get outdoors and hit the road. Here's Chris from ASIC Couriers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Couriers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that'll take you places, get in touch with us at ASIC Couriers. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Did you get your hands on a Great State Experience voucher? Barrister's Block have an Adelaide Hills sanctuary escape that you can use your vouchers on.
Such a great winery, such a beautiful location. Escape to the peaceful woodside with Barrister's Block's night at the farm. Let time slow down as you settle in for a luxury overnight stay at Vignerons Villa.
Breathe in the fresh air and let Barrister's Block look after you. Enjoy harvest plates and wine pairing upon arrival, then wander through the vines with the maker, wine in hand.
The chef puts on a beautiful dinner and you won't need to cook the next morning because the kitchen has got breakfast is covered. Wake up and soak up the morning sun before meeting with the farm animals and grooming the horses.
Spend the night at the farm and enjoy some Barrister's Block. Visit southaustralia.com.au/voucher and search Barrister's Block to book using your Great State Experience voucher by March 31st.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
So now you know who was the first to legalise nude swimming. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Don't you ever let a chance go by.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Don't you ever let a chance go by.
That's right. Don't let a chance go by. If someone's going to give you, say, $100 worth of free fuel, make sure you listen to the rules very carefully. Call in on 82230055 and simply say, "Thanks, David and Will," nothing else.
Thanks.
Good morning, listener.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Good morning.
Morning.
No,
just say thanks, David and Will.
No, we need thanks, David and Will. Hello.
Thanks, David and Will.
Yes, there we go.
That's how it's done.
My wife upbraided me about this segment. She said, "Why do you're clearly baiting people into saying it, and also
Well, I agree with
you're
her.
rewarding." It's not the first time, and clearly you're rewarding those people who have the least amount of manners. But
Yes.
look, I can't help myself anyway. Let's take it to the phones. Good morning.
Thanks, David and Will.
Yes, that's how it's done. Didn't fall for the bait. Very good. What's your name there, sir? What's your name, mate?
Bob, mate.
Bob.
Good on you, Bob.
Congratulations, Bob. Hey, what's the state of the tank at the moment?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How's your
Hang on,
petrol?
turn my radio off.
Yeah, do that.
Sorry?
That's good. Hey, how's the petrol tank at the moment? You empty?
I think it's got about a quarter of a tank left.
Yeah. How much have you been filling up at the moment when you go?
The last time I filled it up was 221.
Whew, oh, yikes.
Yes.
It's
That's
scary,
why I
isn't
only
it?
got $25 left.
Yeah. Wait, we got $100 coming your way. That'll help you out a bit, Bob. Good on you, mate. All thanks to our great friends at McGain Real Estate. McGain Real Estate, massive supporters of local, sold by McGain again. They're great supporters of everything that not we just do on the program, but that go on in South Australia. So big thanks to them for being on board for Tanks, David and Will this week. McGain Real Estate, our good friends, and supplying you with $100 worth of free fuel each and every day this week.
I like this text. I live in Hyde Park. I didn't vote out Stephen Marshall. I voted out Nicola Spurrier. One here too makes a very good point. One seat which didn't swing much to Labor was Colton. I think Colton was the best result for the Liberals considering the margin before Saturday. That's a very good point.
Can I tell you,
Matt Cowdery.
I'm a Colton local, and the small sample size. We went to the polling booth on Saturday, and I was looking how many people had the Liberal how to vote card in their hand because there was a big line. Obviously, with COVID, everything was slower. And I was thinking, my God, this could be a bad day for the polls. It was a sea of blue. We're thinking, this is going to be intriguing.
Oh,
but
really?
it was just Matt Cowdery's vote held up really well.
Given that was a Labor seat for forever,
Yeah.
Paul Kiker held it for many, many years. Matt Cowdery, who knows? He might be in with a chance of becoming the next leader.
We'd like to hear from anyone who's been on the Southern Expressway this morning. 8223 text us on the Telstra Storm Outback text line. There was a crash just before 7 o'clock that happened towards the bottom of the expressway near Seacombe Road at O'Halloran Hill, causing all sorts of issues. If you were stuck in it, let us know the scale of it, and if it's still ongoing or there's any residual, we'd love to hear from you. If you can't call on 8223 shoot us a text on the Telstra Storm Outback text line 0448 08 1395.
Every day, they tell you their news is local. And every day that they bring you news made in Sydney, watch the news you can trust. Adelaide's 7 News, made right here, mornings, afternoons, and 6 p.m. every night.
Act now and you could be living right on the doorstep of art, culture, sport, entertainment and fine dining. 88 O'Connell. Construction of this ultimate urban resort begins soon, which means you have limited time to explore the 2-bedroom fully furnished display suite on site. 1, 2 and 3-bedroom apartments are selling fast, so make the time today. Hurry, time won't wait. Take advantage of pre-construction pricing. 88 O'Connell by Commercial and General, proudly delivering South Australian communities for 25 years.
Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, making his team the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. And the great thing about Mike, he knows people. His team is hand-picked to do it right.
Yeah, here's just one example. Litsa Adamu is the first female building inspector in South Australia. She's got a background in property, the state winner, in fact, of the 2022 Telstra Accelerating Women Awards.
And look, as we know, the great selling point with Mike is that they're actually like properly qualified building inspectors.
That's right.
You can trust
award
Mike
winners
Pearl,
in this case.
Award-winning building inspectors. You can trust Mike Pearl and his entire team with the biggest purchase decision of your life.
So don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Home renovations can be akin to climbing Everest. Every step of the way can be torturous to reach your ultimate goal. Well, the same could be said for home renovations, but not if you go with Buy-Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. The team at Buy-Urban have always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. So start your journey with Buy-Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
If a new in-ground pool is on your family's radar, do the wise thing and talk to Rainwise Pools. Wise, because Rainwise Pools are a family-run and operated business with strong family values at the core of everything they do. Wise, because Rainwise Pools have won multiple awards here and nationally. Wise, because Rainwise Pools offer a 30-year structural and the new Claw Shield technology on all fiberglass pools. Be pool wise. Visit rainwise.com.au. 2021 Fiberglass Pool Builder of the Year.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny, 27 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
Peter Malinauskas has hit the ground running after his weekend win in the state election. He'll be sworn in at 10 a.m. as Premier alongside his new Deputy Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan. This afternoon he'll meet with Police Commissioner Grant Stevens and Professor Nicholas Spurrier to talk COVID. He's told David and Will he wants to know if the restrictions are still in place for the right reasons.
And if the reason why we've got tougher restrictions than the rest of the country is because our health system is so overwhelmed, then I'm going to be honest with people of the state about it. Think about it from the former government's perspective. They could hardly come out and say, oh, I'm sorry, South Australia, you have to put up with more restrictions because the health system is stuffed. Stephen Marshall couldn't do that because then you would be saying, well, you had 2 years to prepare, why didn't you do it? I'm in a position now where I can ask those questions, seek the honest answers, and then explain to people of the state why.
The counting of postal and pre-poll votes gets underway today. Several seats remain undecided, including Stephen Marshall's seat of Dunstan. He is stepping down as Liberal Party leader, and he says that will happen as soon as the party room can elect his successor. An historic former pub in the city has been gutted by fire overnight. Laurel Holder from the MFS says crews were called to the Hotel Wright Street just before 1 a.m.
Aerial appliances and multiple VA lines were able to stop the spread to neighbouring premises. There is significant damage to the premises with fire spreading throughout the building. Fire cause investigators are at the scene this morning with the fire cause being suspicious.
The pub opened in 1851 but closed back in 2006. Adelaide's festival season came to an end last night, with the Fringe and Festival wrapping up for 2022. Fringe director Heather Kroll says it's a challenge to stage an event during a pandemic.
We had over 6,000 artists and 1,100 shows in 350 venues. In many ways this year was much harder than last year. Because of COVID being in the community, this was the toughest Fringe, I would say, ever.
An inquest into the deaths of Brisbane mother Hannah Clark and her 3 children will begin this morning. The 31-year-old, her 2 daughters and son were killed in an arson attack by her estranged husband 2 years ago. The 2-week inquiry will determine whether more could have been done in the lead-up to prevent the tragedy. The late Labor Senator Kimberley Kitching will be farewelled at a funeral in Melbourne today. Lucy Gray has more.
Kimberley Kitching died from a heart attack earlier this month, with workplace-related stress believed to have contributed to her death. Labor leader Anthony Albanese will attend her funeral at St Patrick's Cathedral in Melbourne today, along with opposition senators Penny Wong, Christina Keneally and Katie Gallagher. Over the past week, the trio have denied accusations they bullied and harassed Senator Kitching during her time in federal parliament. Finance Minister Simon Birmingham will represent the government at the funeral.
Inspectors will be sent to hundreds of pubs across the country to ensure bartenders aren't ripping off customers. The so-called Pint Police from the National Measurement Institute will run a week-long audit to test pubs for their measurement accuracy. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide's players will recover this morning following yesterday's heartbreaking 1-point loss against Fremantle. 2 other games yesterday with Gold Coast 27-point winners against West Coast, while Hawthorn outlasted North Melbourne by 20 points. Well, Ferrari has made a big statement to start the Formula One season with a 1-2 finish to finish the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Charles Leclerc, who's won twice in Formula One before from pole, is going to win from pole again and start the season off with celebrations for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc wins the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Audio thanks to Fox. Lewis Hamilton came third while Max Verstappen had car trouble with a couple of laps remaining and failed to finish. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 14th. Meantime, at the Indonesian MotoGP, Aussie Jack Miller came 4th in a race that was won by Miguel Oliveira. To soccer, and Adelaide United's players will prepare for this Saturday night's A-League clash against the Central Coast Mariners in Gosford. The Reds played out a 0-0 draw against the Western Sydney Wanderers yesterday. In overseas action, Liverpool has been made to work before advancing to the FA Cup semi-finals after a hard-fought 1-0 win against Nottingham Forest.
Good ball in meanwhile, and there's the opening goal for Liverpool, and it's Diogo Jota once again who has done the business for Jurgen Klopp's side.
They'll now play against Manchester City, who smashed Southampton 4-1. To basketball, Melbourne United has smashed the Adelaide 36ers 101-74, Cairns and Perth winning yesterday's other games. And at the Valspar Championship in Florida, in the golf, it's all coming down to the final hole, with Americans Sam Burns and Davis Riley tied at 17 under. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
At Manningham, broken down track at the intersection of Hampstead and Taunton Road. North Haven, residual delays to an earlier smash on Victoria Road near Osborne Road. Mile End, works on Henley Beach Road continue near South Road. And busy this morning, South Road at Anzac Highway. Cameras, Baines Road, Morford Vale, Fulham Park Drive, Lockleys and Lonsdale Road at Hallett Cove. Enjoy zero-cost FPOS from SmartPay. Make the switch today. No more terminal rental, no more merchant fees. Visit smartpay.com.au. Minimum turnover and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Mostly sunny, 27 for your Monday, a shower or two tomorrow, 26, down to 23 and partly cloudy on Wednesday. Right now it's 19 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 9 for our final election wrap, the state election campaign. We picked over what you could describe, I think, appropriately as wreckage for the Liberal Party. Went seat by seat, trying to get a sense of what the numbers will ultimately be. Counting resuming today for pre-polls and postals, but we got a sense that it's pretty slim pickings on the Liberal side of things. We wanted to unpack that further because some now questions too for the federal political sphere, and we're joined by South Australian Senator Simon Birmingham. Burmo, good morning to you.
Hey guys, good to be with you, albeit I might have wished to be with you under slightly different circumstances. Very
Can
different
I say though,
circumstances.
Burmo, we really do appreciate you coming in, particularly being here in the studio with us. It's a bit of a you-know-what flavoured sandwich to go through. But
If I carry one reputation, hopefully it's for fronting up.
yeah,
No,
you
that's
do.
100%.
You do. So what do you think went so terribly wrong?
Look, I think Stephen Marshall faced really two juggernauts that were very hard to overcome. One was Omicron and the fact that the carefully laid plans to move from having kept COVID out of the state and kept South Australians safe were completely blown out of the water by the fact that a new variant hit and made it look far more chaotic than actually it was. In the end, our health system held up very well and South Australians continued to be very safe, but COVID went from being a positive to being a real irritant and annoying a lot of people in a whole range of different ways that you couldn't really reconcile either. Some were irritated that it was here at all, others were irritated there were restrictions around managing it. All of that created frustration. I think the other juggernaut, no doubt, was the Labor campaign. Peter Malinauskas, and I've congratulated him personally, and I do so publicly too, ran a very smooth campaign, a very slick campaign, backed in by a very aggressive trade union campaign from the public sector unions in particular. It wasn't all of it honest in terms of what the campaign did or said, but it certainly was effective. And all of those things, I think, conspired to create a bigger swing than had been anticipated. I suspect and think genuinely that the Marshall government will be regarded by history far more kindly than it was by voters on the weekend, that what they achieved through COVID, what they achieved in turning around the economy of the state, in getting more high-skilled, high-paying jobs cemented in the future of this state, and what they did in bringing Year 7s into high school and reforming school education, in environmental policies, in banning single-use plastics, in a whole range of areas will be seen as very positive reforms that they led. But obviously today it's a disappointing day and a tough time for the state Liberal Party as they seek to rebuild.
Well, to that point then about the aggressiveness of the Labor campaign and the robustness of the arguments put by the trade unions, did you guys just play too nice?
Look, there may be an element of that, and frankly there's perhaps an element of that in terms of the fact that Stephen Marshall as a leader was one not prone to grandstanding. If we think through the COVID years, he didn't grandstand like the other premiers. He stood there alongside Grant Stevens and Nicola Spurrier. They worked together as a trifecta of leaders in a sense, navigating the way through. But he never sought to overshadow them in the same way that other state premiers did. He didn't pick fights with Canberra when other state premiers picked fights with Canberra, and perhaps the campaign had a similar absence of that boldness. Stephen was somebody who sought to calmly, thoughtfully deal with the issues, and it's sad in some ways that politics has punished him for that.
But does that point to a broader issue? I mean, you think about some of the really successful long-term premiers interstate. I mean, Sir Joe Bjelke-Petersen and then subsequently Labor's Peter Beattie both made an art form of, I'm going to stand up to Canberra. Conversely here, and thinking of Bob Carr, who was a four-term Labor premier, whenever there was a problem in New South Wales with things like the train, Carr would always stand up and go, I'm hauling in the rail chiefs. This is totally unacceptable. I'm going to tell these bureaucrats what's what. If Marshall's just sort of seems so managerial and so sort of polite and chummy with Scott Morrison, that there was a sort of insipidness might be too strong a word, but does it show that the Libs need to muscle up a bit more and think harder about the art of politics? Because all of those other politicians I mentioned were in power for a very, very long time.
Look, David, I think there's an element of that that's accurate, and reflect on my remark before, then I think history will judge the Marshall government more kindly for its policy achievements, for its reforms, for how it managed the state, than the voters did on the weekend. And inherent in that is that they were actually quite a good government when it came to policy and management and what they achieved. Where they were let down clearly was in the politics.
Yeah,
and you can't deny that when you get an election result like this. Now, how that came about, it's a challenge. I would wish that voters put more regard for a leader who didn't have to chest beat, who didn't seek to blame. I mean, some of the examples you just gave me, that a state premier who hauls in the heads of state agencies to say it's not good enough. He's also a state leader who's not taking really responsibility themselves.
Sure.
They're seeking to shove the blame off onto others.
Yes.
Stephen's style was often to say, yes, there's a problem and we all have to work through it. It's a realistic approach, but it's an approach that in this campaign at least, where Labor then honed in a very singular way on a single issue. I sort of defy many people to suggest Labor campaigned on anything other than health and ramping. And of course were caught out by the Electoral Commission all too late in the piece of having run misleading advertising around that. But it worked, it hurt, and especially that combination of effort between the Labor Party and the unions. And I think this is a problem in terms of South Australia's campaign funding and financing rules as well, that all the parties operate under a cap on spending. The problem is the unions get to spend separate from the Labor Party's cap. So the Liberal Party fronts up against essentially multiple enemies, whilst Labor gets to have the various trade union elements run additional funding and additional campaigning over and above what the Labor Party stands.
Well, typically you might have some support from Business SA or the Hotels Association too that wasn't going to be forthcoming based on the situation here. Can I ask you about the federal political scene? Because if you transpose the result from Saturday over the federal political map of South Australia, suddenly places like Sturt and obviously Boothby look concerning. What's your level of concern for those seats ahead of the federal election?
We've had a long time in this state where we've been governed by the Labor Party. They've since Tom Playford left, they've ruled South Australia for 74% of the time. Over the sort of similar time horizon since Menzies founded the Liberal Party, we've governed Australia for 70% of the time. So you can see there that it's not uncommon. In fact, it is more often than not the case that we have opposites sitting at a federal level to a state level, and that I think that partly plays into the issues. We had a state election largely fought on health. Federal elections historically tend to hone in on the economy, on economic management, on taxes, on job security, on national security, and these are many of the issues that have got very globally uncertain times at present. I would expect the next federal election to be fought on. So we take nothing for granted, and there are certainly lessons for the campaign, but the issues when South Australians come to vote at the federal election will be distinctly different issues. It will be about the cost of living pressures they're facing, which party is a greater risk of higher taxes, which party is more secure for their jobs, and I think on that we will have a strong track record and we will sell it very, very hard.
Burmo, Senator Simon Birmingham, Liberal Senator for South Australia and Finance Minister in the Morrison government. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks, guys. My pleasure.
All right, let's check traffic. The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV shows on at Her Majesty's Theatre Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Thanks, Will. At Manningham, broken down track at the intersection of Hampstead and Taunton Road. North Haven, residual delays from an Elias smash. That's on Victoria Road near Osborne Road. And Mile End works on Henley Beach Road near South Road. Continue speeds at 40 k's. Keep an eye out for cameras this morning. Hillier Road, Ranella, Mortimer Street at Karata Park. What's better than getting a mouthwatering Krispy Kreme original glazed donut? Getting 4 of them. For a limited time only, get the $10 4-pack for just $8 at OTR stores. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You have just 3 days until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Next week, you could be collecting the keys to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Somerton Park with $500,000 to spend on whatever you want. Just imagine living mortgage-free in beachside luxury. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14133.
Peaceful living awaits at the 19th at West, with golf course views, tree-lined walking trails and a cafe and retail shopping precinct opening soon. The best of the West is at your fingertips, with new 3- and 4-bedroom designs and prices beginning from just $730K. It's no surprise 19th at West is selling quickly. Discover the new collection today. The19thwest.com.au. Delivered by Commercial and General, proudly creating South Australian communities for 25 years.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles have just landed an all-new hybrid range of classic oak flooring. This amazing, fully waterproof Timberlook classic oak flooring comes in extra long planks, just like the real thing. DIY this fabulous all-new oak flooring for under $60 per metre, or we'll lay it for you for just $27 per metre more. So check out National Tiles' all-new classic oak flooring in-store or at nationaltiles.com.au now.
Now, did you get a Great State Experience voucher? Well, Sealink have some incredible tours that you can use your vouchers on.
That's right. Birds, bees, wine, cider, sample Kangaroo Island produce on Sealink's Sip and See tour.
A journey from the CBD, Cape Jervis or KI to discover Kangaroo Island's thriving food and wine industry, and you'll meet a myriad of birds of prey at Raptor Domain before your tour guide introduces you to some of the local producers.
Seriously, if you haven't been to Kangaroo Island, get there. It's absolute heaven on earth. Emu Ridge Eucalyptus Distillery, they put on a fantastic 2-course lunch and they take you on a distillery tour, plus there's cider tasting if you're game. Then Clifford's Honey Farm is a treat for the sweet tooths, spectacular Pennington Bay, the perfect photo op before you soak up the views and the vino at False Cape Wines.
Escape with Sealink. Visit southaustralia.com/voucher, search Sealink and book your Great State Experience by March 31 to travel by May 31.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. Flurio Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, Flurio Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers, and for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. Flurio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
We don't just say we're local, we are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 9. Joined by the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh, on this Monday morning. Koshy, good morning to you.
Morning, gents.
First and most importantly, Koshy, I'm not asking this about Saturday night's events, but how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I was lucky after a week off with COVID. I was lucky. I had basically a really, really bad head cold, and that was about the size of it. Didn't have a sore throat or anything like that, so I got off pretty lightly, isolated with Liv for the week, and we ended up still happily married, so that was another good thing.
Good to test it out.
And interestingly, I've got a younger nephew who, he's in his late 20s, and 20 of them went up to the Gold Coast for a Bucks weekend, and every single one of them got COVID as a result. But he was saying that he's stunned that those who had their booster shot were so much less affected than those in the group who hadn't had the booster. And I thought that was a really interesting case study of a bunch of young blokes, because in New South Wales the problem is sort of that age group is not getting their booster shot because they don't think they need it. He was saying he was shocked at the difference of symptoms. So it's a really telling, I think, how important boosters are.
Absolutely.
Hey, gosh, we're interested. We spoke with Simon Birmingham, South Australian Senator, about the fallout from the Lib side of things following the election campaign on Saturday. And before him, we spoke with the new Premier of South Australia, Peter Malinauskas. What's your observation of what transpired in your home state from over there in Sydney?
Yep. Look, Peter is an incredibly impressive campaigner. And I actually put it to him, did Stephen and the Liberals secede too much health power to the health authorities rather than take control themselves? And it's a really fine balance. In New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian in charge, often going against the health advice. Same thing in Victoria. It was Daniel Andrews front and centre. In South Australia, Premier almost took the back step and said, look, I'm going to take the politics out of it. Health advice, they're front and centre, and I'll just do whatever they say. And I wonder if that backfired. And we had Peter Malinauskas on the show this morning talking about that, and he basically conceded that. We had him on the show to talk about that and why he didn't mention his wife in his victory speech. And whether he will never live that down for the rest of his life internally in the family, and he agreed with that.
Hey now, Koshy, I've just been going through the Malinauskas government front bench. Got a few names for you here. Premier Peter Malinauskas, Port Tragic. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan, Port Tragic. Transport Minister Tom Koutsantonis. Just your classic lippy, loudmouth Port Tragic. What is going on? This is a Port Adelaide conspiracy, this government.
Yeah, we were certainly in a win-win situation on the weekend.
You were, either way.
Yep, we're very, it was about the only shining light for the weekend for us, but it's, and they're very passionate Port supporters, all of them as well, so we're very lucky. We tend to attract people who are the workers, and the hard workers. Always tend to vote for Port Adelaide. Rather than that sort of
we're just sitting around doing nothing here, are we, us Crows supporters? You're welfare dependent, I'll tell you what. Just so you know, mate.
It was a close game yesterday. I was cheering so much in that last quarter.
I won't ask you for who. We know it's early days in the life of the Malinauskas government, but Will and I are trying to talk up a Chris Picton leadership challenge.
Good luck.
Hey, good on you, Koshy.
Good on you, guys.
Thank you, host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh. 6 to 9. It's time to go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed 1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is the Saturday Sports Show. KG and Cornsey.
Welcome back, folks, to the Saturday Sports Show.
Beautiful day, Studley.
It is, yes.
8224 0000. Here's the number, folks. Give us a call.
8223 0000.
What did I say?
You did the number we used to have 20 years ago.
Oh, you get to my age, Studley, and things don't go as the same way they
anyway, give us a call, folks.
Yes, give us a call.
Hello, Ashley.
Hey boys, how are we going?
We're good.
We're good, thanks, Ashley.
I heard you're struggling to read an ad. What was the ad?
That was the Walco ad.
Oh, the Walco ad.
KG kept interrupting me.
I just think Saturday morning sports show is not the time to embrace your Joe Biden personality, Cornsey, you know?
What?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
No, I don't either. I've got no idea. Joe Biden. How does what we do? What's the reason that we did that? Because that was Blakey. Blakey does a recorded version of the Walco ad, pretending to be us, and we were being funny, trying to pretend to be him, pretending to be us when we did the ad as us the first time when we did it.
Yes, that's right. Have you not heard that ad, Ashley?
No, and I'm thoroughly confused now. Okay, you really are sounding like Joe Biden. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Jeez.
Oh, sorry about that.
What do you mean we sound like Joe Biden?
I think because Joe Biden is a bit dithery.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Well, that's obviously what he's alluding to.
But that's not. That. How do we sound? I mean, there's nothing that we do that is if anything, it's nothing. It's nothing like what if Joe Biden when was what. Gee whiz.
Yes, I think that was harsh.
Harsh? It was downright rude being compared to some grey-haired old fart that can hardly complete a coherent...
That was Blakey Inception there.
You know what I enjoyed? Sledging with Koshy. Isn't it nice that footy's back and we can just start, taking inane pot shots at each other based on which football team we barrack for.
Oh, yeah. Life has meaning again. I don't think it's over dramatic to say that.
No.
Let's do Fuel Watch. Find the cheapest fuel on the free My RAA app, including where RAA members can save 4 cents a litre. The United Main North Road, Paraka. How about this? In fact, this needs a... petrol for under $2, $1.99.9. Congratulations to the United Main North Road, Paraka. You've done it. No one else has.
Traffic snarls.
The Mogas McGill Road, McGill, $2.09.9 is cheap. That's why I'm reading it out. The United South Road, Melrose Park, $2.15.9. Diesel is still pretty high too. United Main North Road, Paraka is as good as we found it, $2.03.7. Time for a headline, David.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Stephen Marshall demands recount after taking the lead in Dunstan.
Could happen later today.
Both of those things could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
John Howard privately said to me after he lost Bennelong by a few hundred votes, I said, do you reckon if it had swung around the other way with the postals, you would have asked for a recount? And he just raised one eyebrow and went...
We're out of time. Graham Goodings is coming up in just a moment. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.